Hey, it's me. It's all right. Let's having a good old family dinner. This is right after the church. All right, now, Kyle, have you prepared the pasta primavera?
The pasta primavera is in the oven. I told you that you didn't let me cook it when we got off for church because then fucking Juliana came over and harangued me for 15 minutes about a loser fucking boyfriend.
Oh yes, I hate that guy. I mean that dude can just suck my dick.
Yeah, fuck it, Giuseppe. He's a fucking moof. You know what I'm saying?
Is that Uncle? Is he finally in?
So Antonio came.
Uncle Antonio, hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Give us all a kiss.
Uncle Antonio.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So good to see you, Uncle. It's been so long since I've seen you. When was the last time I seen you? Christmas?
That don't be Christmas. That
That
I
must be Christmas.
think that was Christmas. Listen, boys, listen.
Yes.
I was in Sicily, and I heard from a good friend that those paradox bastards, those black dogs wannabe, they changed our names in their stupid game to Hecata. Is that true?
What do you mean they changed their names? We've been to Giovanni like we
it's not
always
the same
been.
decision happened and we weren't told about it.
Did they make a decision? What happened?
My friend told me they changed her name into Hecata, which is the Greek goddess of magic. It's pagan and it's Greek. Do you understand me?
What the fuck? That's impossible. Who the fuck came up with that,
You
mother?
could have even called it Clan Hades or Clan Pluto or something like that.
Yeah, they couldn't
Something
call
that
it
would have made a little bit more sense.
Yeah, no, they got no brains. What are they going to calling us Greeks for? Fuck's sake, we're Italian. We always been Italian.
Listen to me. We're gonna take violin cases and we're gonna make them dance, capiche?
All right, good. It's just opposite. You say that we got this Yoko out from West Virginia. He sold us all these guns. He's going to show us all these different guns. You got what'd you say your name is again? Was it like Reed or something?
Oh well, my name is Cleft.
Oh, okay. It's because you got that weird thing going on with your lip.
Yeah, that's one of it.
It's rude to point that out. Anyway, Mr. Reed, what do you got for us? You got some tools. You got some. What you got on you?
Well, I've got this here. This crate of insert gun here.
Yes, it's very nice. How many cylinders is that? How many bolts in the cylinder?
We'll say 13.
13. Oh, this is a very big gun. You see this?
But you see, the real bread and butter is over here in this crate.
See, oh yeah, show us this. Yes.
This is straight from my own brewery. This is some grade A moonshine.
What the fuck are we gonna do with moonshine? What do we look like? We're fucking from West Virginia? You out your fucking mind?
Does that go well to ravioli?
Wait. What is the moonshine?
It can if I cook it.
Yeah. Gotta show some of these. I'm a little bit hesitant on you showing us this recipe. I mean, what do you think?
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, you think Olive Garden is real Italian?
What the fuck is Olive Garden?
You're losing your fucking mind. Look, Reed, we is
Where
the
is your
fucking
mama's
weapons.
recipe?
First of all,
You idiot, your grandmama.
what the fuck kind of a gun got 13 rounds in a magazine? First of all, there's bad luck. Second of all, there's terrible weapons design. We're Italian. We know what the fuck a good fucking gun looks like. You understand me? Second of all, why the fuck you bringing all this fucking alcohol into our house, all right?
You know what?
My friend, you need to calm down. Your energy is high right now. I need you to lower energy.
Yeah, of course your energy's fucking high. We got a fucking job to do.
These guns are handmade.
Silencio. We're gonna do this old-fashioned way. We're gonna use our disciplines. Get out, blonde boy.
They don't show up in
they're gonna pay because no one messes with Giovanni.
Metal detectors. They surpass all of them.
Silencio.
How do you think I got it here?
Hey, Yoko.
I don't
Take
know.
your crates, take your shine, pack it up, get the fuck up out of our sentry, okay?
I can't breathe.
I'll show you what these moonshines are really for.
All right, roll initiative.
Fuck!
You're talking about
Salute bang! Get the fuck out of here!
You're talking about the
Molotovs.
Yeah. If you didn't guess, yes, we're talking about the fat guys, Italian guys.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Cappadocian video. We're going over to Giovanni now. We swapped out the last guy for Raprid.
Yes, we did.
And here he is.
It's me, Sor Antonio.
And I actually showed up.
Yes.
There he is.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this before several times. Clan Giovanni is my favorite clan of all of Vampire the Masquerade. I love these guys. And I think I said this before with the Cappadocian video. I don't know what went on with Justin and Achille, or Achille, or however the fuck you say his last name. Where the dude comes in out of the woods, and he already worked on Vampire. He comes in with the clan book Giovanni. And this book hits it out of the park. It is so good. Revise is well, it's a little bit clunky. He starts getting a little purple with his prose, but it's still good. And then these guys, for a decent portion of Vampire's run, hijack the meta plot and become the main antagonists of Vampire the Masquerade for a while. You have so many good characters in this. So this clan, it naturally mixes with Werewolf, Mage, Changeling, and Wraith, especially Wraith. It has all these natural tie-ins to it. And Augustus Giovanni is such a good antagonist, dude. He's so good. Such a great villain.
I'm gonna say this. It's a good spot because there are two things. Everybody wants money and everybody will die.
It's super simple. It's a very easy concept to get a grasp on. Like, it's the Italian mafia. Behold, you automatically know what these guys are going to be about. Let me bring up an analogy here. With clan books Bruja and Tremere, first edition especially, you only have so many pages to talk about these guys. So much about the Bruja is dedicated to culture, but it's cultures plural. A lot of the Bruja are radical leftists, but you also have neo-Nazis and free market capitalists within the Bruja. That doesn't exactly mesh that well in terms of community. And Clan Bruja is this massive mess culturally, and we have very little in regards to structure, because there is no structure. And then the Tremere, it spends so much time talking about history and the structure of the pyramid that we don't really get to know about the Tremere as people. Every Tremere I've seen and heard about has played, for the most part, the same. With the Giovanni, the genius of this is that it's the Italian mafia turned into vampires. Boom! The culture has already been written. You already know what they're going to act like. Now you have all this time to add in necromancy, their history, characters. All this stuff is already laid out for you, and you can focus on the great details of the Giovanni. And it creates... This is probably the most fleshed out vampire clan in the entire book. You have the Zimici, and the Zimici are fantastic, but the Giovanni are so well done, and it still blows my mind. Like, what happened to you, Justin, during Chronicles of Darkness that caused you to, like I said before, there's losing your touch, and then there's whatever the fuck happened to you.
Well, I mean,
I don't get it.
See, here's the thing with the Giovanni, like you said, because it's so heavily based off like Italian mafia, there's such a wellspring of historical of history and of culture surrounding the Italian mafia that, he saved so much time doing that. He could actually focus on, the more fantastical elements and how it would fit into the world of darkness. So I feel like he really saved a lot of time making such a shift that he really got to focus on what he could. But in the latter day White Wolf properties, where he had to build everything from the ground up, he really struggled because he didn't have as much of a base for it. But then again, that doesn't excuse that either, because, I mean, if you look at every other werewolf faction, each one of them are very clear and concise as to what they can do, who they are, and where they came from. So yeah, you are right on that. I have no idea what happened between now and then.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened. It looks like all of Justin's talent. What's that? You're saying?
Yeah, I have a theory. Maybe he take the mafia concept, and just did this. But when he was asked to create something, he couldn't, because he could copy it.
But if you have a base, you can go off of the base. But when you're asked to make something from scratch, you're going to struggle with that. And for whatever reason,
he struggled a lot.
Yeah, White Wolf kept wanting to pull him off of Vampire to do other stuff. Like, for some reason, we need you to write for, what's this, Kindred of the East. Like, what the fuck do you know about Asia? What did anyone in White Wolf really know about Asia? And he's at his best when he's writing about Vampire. He's at his absolute worst when he's writing about anything other than Vampire. I mean, this dude was behind, what's a real stinker here? Exalted. And I hate Exalted. I think this is a terrible world. I think that was such a bad idea to try to compete with D&D 3rd edition with Exalted. Because to me, that was dead on arrival when I looked at that. And I swear there's like a noticeable drop in the quality of his work after Exalted 2nd edition. And then Chronicles of Darkness comes around, and then Vampire 5th edition. Oh my god, Vampire 5th edition. Where first of all, you destroyed your own lore. Like, you forgot what you wrote in your own books 20 years ago, 30 years ago. However long that was when you first came up with the Giovanni. Where, I guess Giovanni just has a bridge dropped on him, and we're going to talk about how stupid that death is. And now you've ballooned the size of the Second Inquisition to the point where you can't have a functioning masquerade anymore. I don't see how we're going to get a 6th edition with this plot. I think you're just going to tear it down and then rebuild it from where we left off in 2004. That's the only way I can see this going forward. All right. That's enough of that. Let's actually get into the history. All right. Let's talk about, Justin, what you wrote back when you had talent. I sent you 2nd edition. I have 1st edition.
Okay.
Is I'm going off of this. So if there's a detail in 2nd edition that I don't bring up, feel free to cut me off and interject with it.
I will try.
All right. So how do we begin this story? We begin where we left off with Cappadocians. Now, you remember why the Giovanni were selected for the Embrace and to claim Cappadocians?
Money.
Yes, money.
Influence.
The Giovanni had a ton of money, and if it was just that, they probably would just will become Cappadocians, and that would have been the end of the story.
Wait a minute.
It was Augustus Giovanni studying black magic, specifically necromancy, that caught Cappadocians' attention. You had a question?
I was just wanted to add that I thought he practiced magic, but you added that myself.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, necromancy. He was learning how to raise the dead is what he was focusing on. Of course, we went over this part of the story at the middle part of the Cappadocian video. Cappadocius calls Japheth and says, we need to get this guy into the Cappadocians. He's going to be our version of Tremere. And Japheth is telling him, this is a bad idea. This is a terrible idea. Don't you do this. But he says, no, I'm going to do it right this time because I've observed what went on with Tremere, and I'm not going to make those same mistakes, Cappadocius says in his own arrogance. So they they go all the way to Venezia. They have this massive dinner. Augustus Giovanni gets embraced. And what does Augustus Giovanni do? He starts embracing his family. Every member of the Cappadocian family, you start becoming a vampire. And he starts with his golden boy, Claudius Giovanni, his favorite son. Keep that in mind. He's supposed to be the golden boy amongst the Giovanni.
Yeah.
And
when you think your parents didn't have favorites, Augusto Giovanni has favorites. So your parents has as well favorites.
He had a very obvious
sorry
favorite.
to break it to you, but you maybe not be golden boy or girl or whatever that is.
You begin to learn that Augustus Giovanni was a terrible father.
Yeah.
And now what happens is Augustus Giovanni is looking at Cappadocius, and he's thinking, well, why do you keep comparing me to Tremere? Is it like you got a death wish? Do you want me to diabolize you? Is that what you're alluding to? And as it turns out, he eventually learns that, yes, that is what Cappadocius wants. Because Cappadocius begins to think, it's taking me too long for me to reach Golconda and die through sacrifice for me to ascend to heaven. That's taking too long. So what if I were to just die and that's it, and something actually kills me? But I'm Cappadocius. I'm trying to stab myself with this giant magic sword. It won't pierce my flesh because I've got 10 points in fortitude. So Augustus Giovanni, I want him to drain all my blood, and after he does that, I will die and then ascend into heaven. I can be one with God. And Augustus Giovanni, he catches wind of this plan and thinks, well, this is a little bit weird. Why does he want to go to heaven? Well, it's because Cappadocius wants to diabolize God and then become a truly immortal. Well, that's stupid. What, you think you're going to get away with this, Cappadocius? I guess
you won't know till you try.
Yes.
I mean, I'm at the Deluvian, right? I will make good things.
So Augustus is saying, All right, if Cappadocius wants to die, we'll do it. But there's just one thing standing in the way. Constantia and Japheth, they're going to do everything they can to protect protect Cappadocius and prevent me from getting him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around to all the other clans. I'm going to get one person in, and I'm going to say, hey, I need your help. I'm going to hire you with my big stack of Giovanni money to have you follow me into Cappadocius' library and have me diabolize him. And the Conspiracy of Isaac begins to form. Now, why is it called a Conspiracy of Isaac? It's ironic, right? You remember Genesis 22 in the Bible?
When God told Abraham to kill his son?
Yes, it's the reverse. Now it's Isaac killing Abraham. That's why it's called this,
Oh, shit.
so to speak. Aha, it's like Augustus Giovanni is very pretentious.
Little bit.
Christian. Christian.
Yeah, I love Augustus Giovanni. He's so full of his own shit. I love this guy.
And he's literally full. He's like round.
Yeah, he is disgusting. Shall we pull up his picture again?
Might actually be a good idea. Let's see.
Let's pull up his picture. Let's pull up the definitive Augustus Giovanni picture. Let me see.
Signore
Well, actually,
Giovanni.
see, Giovanni. Hey, I'm an Italian here. Check me out. I'm a necromancer. I'm gonna become one with the
fucking
gonna rule
Marlon
the
Brando
world.
over here.
I'm gonna Diablo res of the Deluvian.
So he's doing well with his plan, but until one Jadwiga Almanov comes across him. And she
Jadwiga?
is a what?
Jadwiga?
Yeah,
It does pronounce her name?
Jadviga.
Jadwiga.
Yeah.
Jadwiga.
And-
Yay! Polish name! High five.
And she comes in. She's like half Polish, half Slavic. I'm guessing like Ukrainian or something. And she has this ongoing rivalry with Hardstadt the Younger. And she's like in this control of the Camarilla power struggle with Hardstadt. And she thinks it'll be a great idea to help Augustus Giovanni and get him as an ally. And what she does is that she goes over to Augustus Giovanni and says, with my influence and my word, I can call in my contacts. You're not going to do this with vampire mercenaries. You're going to do these with professionals, with elders. We're going to get you to help out. We're going to give you the help on that. And, well, fantastic. Augustus Giovanni agrees to the idea. And you've got these huge names in the clans for this. You've got Lady Dimitra from Clan Gangrel, Leopold Valdemar from the Sombra, who's a Zamichi. Oh my god, I can't even pronounce that name. Let's pick a different representative.
No. I will try to pronounce it. Give the name.
You spell it Mieczslav.
Can you like copy it and put it? Because I'm not good at spelling in English.
See, let me go ahead. Let me copy that name.
Fully.
Let's see. Let me just post it right here in studio notes. There's his name. So how do you say that?
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's also Mieczysław, but Mieczysław. It's famous by the sword. It's the meaning of the name.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so Mieczysław, okay.
Yeah, and that's a Tremere, by the way. No, not Tremere, Azamichi. Sorry. I am. And all of these are named characters that you can encounter in the Giovanni Chronicles, which is a 4-book-long adventure module for Vampire the Masquerade. I'm very happy it exists. I feel like we need to do an entire separate episode just on Giovanni Chronicles. They're done a little later in the future. Okay, so yeah, you've got Jadwiga who gets elders on board with this idea. And the plan is simple. My son Claudius is going to lead the charge. We're going to go into Ursinius. We're going to go in, handle Japheth, handle Constantia, and then I will corner Cappadocius while he's in torpor, and I will drain him of his blood. And the plan goes off perfectly. Very few casualties happen on Giovanni's side. The Cappadocians get wiped. And as planned, Augustus Giovanni finds Cappadocius, drains him of his blood, and boom, we now have an antediluvian. And unlike Tremere, Cappadocius isn't trying to take Giovanni's body. fantastic. Augustus Giovanni has all this power, but it's a little underwhelming. Shouldn't I be, like God with his power? And Augustus Giovanni has his inner monologue. Cappadocians, where's all the power, man?
It's gone.
Yeah,
Fuck you. I'm going to heaven.
Giovanni, I'm not in heaven. Okay, what do you want me to do about that? I mean, you're dead, kind of, sort of. No, I'm stuck in your body. Okay, because I'm not in heaven, I'm only going to give you half my power. And, well, fine, I'll fuck you then. And so you got Augustus Giovanni, who is the strongest sired vampire and the weakest antediluvian. Every other antediluvian, as described in Times of Judgment, would easily wipe Augustus Giovanni in a one-on-one fight. Augustus Giovanni has the power to cause people to disintegrate by breathing in the air around him. So that, to put into perspective, just how ludicrously strong every other antediluvian is when Giovanni is at the bottom. And it also kind of puts it in perspective just how strong was Cappadocius and how much was he holding back.
Quite a bit of
he wasn't a warrior, he was a scholar.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well,
I mean, so is Tremere, but that's not an excuse for him either.
Tremere is not the worm, okay? He doesn't do shit.
Yeah. Tremere rode off the back of Atreus and Goratrix and just copied their work and got a power off of the two of them. Tremere, you didn't build the Tremere. Atreus did. That's what happened. Okay. What happens next in the story? Augustus Giovanni says to make sure that we're going to repeat what the Tremere did with the Slubri. We're going to genocide the Cappadocians. Easy enough, right? The Cappadocians plead to the Camarilla, save us, don't let us die. And in a 4-3 vote, the Camarilla votes for the death of the Cappadocians. They don't think they're worth being allies, and just let the Giovanni kill them. Incredible. There wasn't even a propaganda campaign against them too, like the Salubri. They just didn't like the Cappadocians.
I thought this day was happy. It put a smile on Harbingers of Skulls,
yes. But
then it turns into bitter, sad expression when they say like, "Hey, we're supposed to kill them, you bitch."
Somebody beat you to it.
Yeah.
And
God damn it.
So there goes the Lamia and the Cappadocians. They don't exist anymore. Aside from a few sparse Cappadocians that pop up here and there, like in Constantinople by night. You have some of those, but then that's it really. And no, not Constantinople. Ridge Cross Egypt. That's the book that she popped up in. And,
Lazarus.
Yeah. Well, not Lazarus. It was. I'm forgetting her name. It's dollars on the pennies. There's nothing to look up. Because she doesn't really do anything in terms of the plot. And with these clans dead, Augustus Giovanni thinks, well, I've got the god power, kind of, sort of. I've got all this money, and now I can just do whatever I want. Camarilla, they can fuck off. I'm going to do this my own way. And same with the Sabbat, too. He doesn't join with any faction. Giovanni's doing it his own way. And he can do this and get away with it because he's an antediluvian. And through intimidation, he gets away with this. If they knew the truth that Giovanni only had half of Cappadocius' power, the Giovanni would have been easily crushed by the Sabbat or the Camarilla. But because he keeps comparing himself to Tremere, they assume that he's on the same level of power as Tremere, and he's not going into torpor like Tremere is. Tremere only wakes up, every 30 years, and he's up for a day before he goes back to sleep. Giovanni's just walking around. So because of that, the Camarilla at the Sabbat, they're freaking the fuck out. They don't think they can fight Giovanni and they can win. But no, you can go in, you can fight Augustus Giovanni as any other vampire, and you can win that fight. Let me tell you, in Times of Judgment Gehenna, every scenario in that book has Augustus Giovanni die very early on in the story. Because as it turns out, he's not as strong as he says he is. Your party kills him in the Nightshade scenario. That's what you can do. You're not even a group of elders. Vampires that are only as old as Generation 8 can put this guy down. To put into perspective.
What the?
And he
It's-
diablerized
it's-
Cappadocians? What the fuck?
Yeah, that shows how much Cappadocius is holding back on him.
Yeah.
That if Cappadocius wanted to be, if he wanted to help Giovanni, then Giovanni would have been untouchable, because Giovanni is going out of his way to do hostile takeovers. He's out there fighting with his men. If he had that full power, then he probably could have crushed the Camarilla by himself. Like, Arakel would have had to come out of torpor to fight him. That's the level that would have been the level of desperation that the Camarilla would have been on. Yes.
Do you think he would harm Arakel unconsciously, like with Aura of Decay, or
It's
no?
it's a coin toss, because Augustus Giovanni at the power he's in would lose that fight. But if he had the Cappadocius power,
full power, yeah, full power.
then if it depends on who sees who first, because if it's going to boil down to a perception roll. If Arakel passes that check, it's going to shut down Giovanni. He's just going to stand still while Arakel secures the kill. But if Giovanni wins that, then Arakel is going to crumble into dust before she can lift a finger.
I mean, also, Curse of Arakel, like, oh yeah, I'm so super beautiful, don't kill me, and he's like, yes.
Yeah, if Augustus Giovanni would definitely love to bet Arakel, but that's never going to happen.
Is married.
Yeah, you're not Salat. You don't have the looks of Salat.
Seriously, Slut was that good looking?
Yeah. There was a whole bit in the Salubri book that
A lot of balls.
yeah, it was Arakel tried having a conversation with Salat, and Salat's trying to tell her, oh, philosophy, God, being a vampire, only to realize that Arakel isn't listening to a thing he says, because Arakel's looking at his chest and not his eyes.
Nice. Very nice.
That's
Yeah.
what happens.
Sulat was brave pressing. You should
Yeah.
too.
Uh,
Those
he-
tits matter.
he had to awkwardly tell Malkav, hey, your sister's a nice person, but she wants to bank me. I don't think we can be friends.
Yeah. I'm a good Christian
Amazing.
boy. I cannot do this.
Salat's such a pure person. It's such a shame what happened to him. What happens next in the story? Yeah, it's the Renaissance period. So Giovanni, seeing that he's his own man, his own clan, does everything he can to outdo the Camarilla. While the Camarilla control countries, Giovanni controls capitalism. He controls the flow of commerce. You want to have a trade route? You have to go through Giovanni if you want that route. No business can do business in Europe without Augustus Giovanni's approval. That's how powerful he becomes financially. So behold, name a corporation in Europe, he has control over it.
So he's got all the money.
Yes. He has got so many corporations. He is Pentex before Pentex forms.
I mean, he makes money, so he's better than Pentex.
Yeah, he's actually got sustainable business models. Augustus Giovanni is pissed that Pentex exists, and we'll get into detail about that in a minute. But that does raise a sophisticated idea, actually, because let me ask you guys a question. What's more powerful, a corporation or a country?
Corporations.
I mean, depending on the corporation and depending on the country.
Because
According to Continuum.
a country can pass laws. They have a country. They have an army. They can put you in jail. But a corporation controls your culture. It controls what your youth are going to be. Because current event going on right now, Linus Tech Tips had his channel community striked. 13 million subscriber channel got community striked because he made a video talking about how to use the internet without using any Google products whatsoever, and got struck for that.
Nice.
Did you hear about that, Kyle?
I actually did not hear about that, but I find that very funny.
Yeah, so there it goes, because they control the internet by this point, corporations. And if they wanted to cut off communications within a country that have become so dependent on the internet, they can do that. I mean, you had a sitting president's Twitter account get banned while he was a sitting president. That's the kind of power that a corporation has. So that goes to show the Ventru would be the country in this comparison. The Giovanni are the company, to show just how powerful the Giovanni are and how much even footing they have with the Ventru, and how the Ventru and the Giovanni are always trying to one up each other. The La Sombra want to say that they're the sworn enemy and the rival of the Ventru, the Losabra are full of shit. It's the Giovanni that are the sworn enemy of the Ventru.
You said that about Asimites. Everybody's sworn enemy to the Ventru. Nobody likes Ventrus.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Well, no, nobody does like the Ventru, except
the
maybe the
Ventru
Toreador.
thinks Nobody.
I like the Ventru.
I know you like the Ventru.
Do
'cause
you,
you're playing
Ryan?
one.
Do you?
Yep.
Because that's the thing with the Ventru. They don't take anyone that says they're their rival seriously, except the Giovanni. This is the enemy here. And the Ventru and the Giovanni are doing everything they can to one up and cut each other out. And it's this ongoing battle behind the scenes. Where if you want to talk about I mean the Chronicle is just writing itself with what you can do with the Giovanni and the Ventru. Have an entire
Yeah.
campaign based around the rivalry.
Yeah, imagine your prince will send you to fight some Giovannis or
Oh.
whatever.
Yeah, and you walk in and there's all these zombies that the Ventru prince doesn't tell you about. And then behold, you're up shit creek without a paddle because cutting the head off a zombie doesn't kill it. It still comes after you. And the level of fun you can have with a full Giovanni campaign. That's why I said these guys make such good villains. They make such good villains, dude, because of all the money and the resources that they have. I mean, a really good villain in a modern day story isn't so much like General Zod, where it's just one really strong man. It's one man that has all these connections and all these resources that's intimidating now. That's the modern day villain that's so good.
Like Lex Luthor. I own Metropolis.
Yeah, Lex Luthor's more powerful than Doomsday.
Or Batman.
Batman. Where Batman could just, I don't know, form a lawsuit together and just sue Two-Face and then solve his issues that way. Why are you bothering to find this guy hand to hand to sue the pants off of him?
Bro, Two-Face is a lawyer. He would win that fight in the court.
How many court cases has he won?
Literally every. He was like.
Yeah, he was a rising star.
He was a rising
league.
star.
Yeah.
And now he's too mentally ill to win a case anymore.
Wow. Okay. When I'm gonna throw acid on your face, we'll see your reaction.
He's become Nick Rekieta in terms of how good he is as a lawyer. It's gonna be a flash in the pan. That reference is gonna age well in the year when this guy falls off the internet. Okay,
Yeah,
so what happens?
But people won't know.
I guess this Giovanni isn't entirely satisfied with just having all this money. He wants to rule the world with this power. So he comes up with a plan called the Long Night. Have you seen Ghostbusters?
I have.
Yes.
The Long Night is the plot of Ghostbusters.
Nice.
No, seriously, it's the plot of Ghostbusters.
I mean, I do like Ghostbusters. So.
What the plan is that Augustus Giovanni is collecting ghosts, and he is going to collect 100 million ghosts, and they're all going to be specters. He's going out with his necromancy proton packs in the Shadowlands, finding wraiths, dragging them all the way back to the vault in Venice, where he throws them in the vault. He's keeping them all there, and he's going to release them when he finally hits that 100 million quota. And when he does that, all the wraiths are going to run around, cause all this havoc, all this chaos, going to cause wanton destruction. You will see devastation as far as the eye can see, and then Augustus Giovanni and the boys are going to come in and say, hey, you need somebody to handle these ghosts? We can handle it for you, but you just need to give us your blood and your servitude for the rest of your life. And then they'll say yes to it because they're the only guys who can fight the wraiths.
Bustin' makes me feel
Silent
good.
Striders. There are silent striders.
That's true as well, but they didn't think about that.
Yeah, they'll have to handle the silent striders, but
now werewolves? What the fuck?
Yeah. This also doesn't account for any mage guild, does it?
Yeah.
That's you see what the silent striders don't like these guys, the Giovanni in particular.
Yes. And
this plan is so stupid sounding, but it's just crazy enough in the World of Darkness to actually work. It's so that's why I love about the World of Darkness, dude. It's stupid at points, but it's serious at the same time.
Yeah, it takes itself the right amount of serious.
Yeah, it doesn't ever clash in terms of tone, because it's fun. It's the fun kind of stupid, not the this is make my eye roll and it breaks me out of my immersion kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's what I like about it so much. It's like Pentex is quite literally like a comically evil corporation, but the things they do are so fucking heinous compared to everything else that it actually works.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean, imagine like now with vampires. Oh, Giovanni. Yes, I'm gonna collect all these ghosts, release them, and I'm gonna make profit from them. And I don't know, a few blocks away there is a flesh church of from whom Zemichi made.
Basically, yeah.
yeah, you got the Giovanni with the ghosts, and then Zemichi with his virus. Who's going to take over the world first?
Well, see, here's the thing. The the Giovanni can run their Ghostbusters racket all they like, but if all of their clients have been turned into, pulsating flesh monsters by Zemichi, then it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So that's the thing, though. With the Giovanni, they have a little bit of spirit insurance, because at very high levels of necromancy and with the rituals, Giovanni can just come right back as a wraith after they die. They're very, very hard to kill, these Giovanni.
Fuck.
So
Necromancy, fortitude, and then this shit.
yeah, it's very hard to keep them dead. So if you want a reoccurring villain in your campaign, the Giovanni are perfect for that.
Stitch them up together like Frankenstein or some shit.
How many times we're going to have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Basically.
That's exactly what you'll get with the Giovanni.
Yep.
You know what's funny? There is a merit in V20 that gives you 9 lives like a cat. And you give that to Giovanni. You kill him 9 times, and then he becomes a wraith.
It's like in Modern Warfare when somebody drops a tactical insert and you just have to camp and wait for him to respawn.
Yeah. If the Giovanni and the Zemichi were working together, good God, can you imagine that nightmare?
That'd be terrifying beyond all rational thought, but we'll talk about it later, but they are shit scared of Zemichi.
Hey, Zemichi, what kind of bite did you make for me this time?
Oh, I have something special for you.
Yeah, it's got 4 arms this time. I like it. Let's use it. You're thinking.
I think it would be like Giovanni just knocks to someone's door. He's like, "Give me all your money, or we'll fuse your knees." You mean break my knees? No.
And then their legs fuse together and then they're a walking pogo stick.
They became,
boing, boing,
they
boing.
became mermaid. H2O.
I'm telling you, the vicissitude, the stuff that's listed in the book, that's only the surface as to what you could do with that power.
It'd be more like a penguin because they'd be waddling. Because only their knees would be fused.
They walk like Amy Rose in fucking Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
We broke Johnny.
Sonic 06.
Okay. Right,
oh, God.
What else do we have? Okay, so here's a weird plot point that comes up for a paragraph and then just disappears from the book. They're also looking for something called Khazar's Diary, which is supposed to speed up the endless night process. They have 6 pages of the diary, but they're looking for the rest of it. Okay, that's the end of that plot point. It never comes up again. Okay, what else do we have in this? See, the promise of 1528. We can talk about this. So after how many years? The conspiracy of Isaac happens in 1444. The promise happens in 1528. So that, however, just shy of around 80 years. The Ventru and the Giovanni are finally sick to death of fighting each other openly. They're still going to fight, but they're going to do a loose promise. Claudius Giovanni approaches the Camarilla, and after a 10-night-long convention, finally forms a non-aggression pact with the Camarilla. They say, you just let us do our business. We won't get involved in a jihad. We won't get involved in the Sabbat or the Anarchs. We're just going to do our own thing, make our money, and you just leave us alone. And the Ventru say, sounds good, but every 13 years we're going to audit you and check out your base in Venice, see what's going on, make sure everything's fine. The mistake is that the Ventru just told Claudius what that plan was. So their home base, Venice, they built a second Venice beneath Venice. I'm not even kidding you. They build a city beneath the city. They build Rapture.
That's Skaven's behavior.
It kind of is.
Other city.
They pay the Ratkin to make a city for them.
Yeah. Yes. Ravestone.
Yes. Much money, much pasta, ravioli. And now it's spaghetti night with the Ratkin every night. So much for the band of man.
Oh, so it's spaghetti night.
And behold, so every 13 years they have to go through an audit. Giovanni don't care because all their secret stuff is hidden beneath Venice. So whatever, the Venture can do whatever they want. And of course, they're still going to screw each other over because the nature of Vampire the Masquerade.
Yep.
All right, what happens next? A little bit more of Khazar's diary is discovered in the 17th century. But in reading so, I guess Giovanni is flipping through this page, was it 6 or 7? And he looks at it, and there's something in it about Cappadocians anticipating what Giovanni was going to do. It probably wasn't Cappadocians who did that because Cappadocians wanted to die. So I think it was Japheth who got Cappadocians to do this. So it's Japheth getting one last laugh on Giovanni. There's a vial of Cappadocians' blood that contains 1% of his soul. That if Giovanni were to drink it, it would give him full dominion over Cappadocius. But that vial was over in Ursinius, where they destroyed the entire temple and turned it into rubble, and everything in it was incinerated with flames that burned so hot it destroyed the stone, and Claudius was the one who burnt the temple, and Giovanni stews over this. He is seething about it. My son just screwed over my way of getting into of fully controlling Cappadocius. The god power was right there, and my stupid son forgot about this vial and just skipped right over it. So what does he do? He calls Claudius into a room, has a meeting with him, and Claudius never comes out of that room. Never. And what's even better, there is an associate of Cappadocius. We can bring him into the story now, called the Capuchin. You spell that Capuchin, like the monkey. I'm assuming. I assume he looks like a monkey. And
I think he looks like coffee.
He's just the right shade of brown, right?
Yeah.
And
White hair.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's probably a very handsome man.
Probably.
But hold on. But the thing is, this dude is a caitiff. He has no clan. But he comes in and he bought his way into the Giovanni by saying, I will steal books in the Vatican for you if you teach me necromancy. And Giovanni agrees to that. And Giovanni is the one who teaches the Capuchin necromancy. And eventually, he loves the Capuchin more than he loves Claudius. He says, you're my son now. You're my favorite son. We have no blood relationship, but you're my favorite son. I'll put you in my will. You'll get everything when I die. If I die.
Sweet.
And that includes Claudius's body. So after Cappadocius, I keep calling him Cappadocius, after Giovanni cuts off Claudius's head, drains his son of his vitae, he gives his corpse over to Capuchin, who does whatever he does with it.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Amazing father, right?
Yeah,
10 out
favors
of 10.
just simply, turns.
Behold, Capuchin, my actual son meant nothing to me. You're my real favorite son.
And holding his head like, holy fuck, I will end like this if I fuck up.
And all those other books, by the way, this book mentions, first edition, the Book of Nod. Giovanni has that. He has it. He has the dossier on all the Antediluvians and their power.
And he still loses.
So the thing that the Sabbat want to get an edge up on the Antediluvians, Giovanni is sitting on, and Giovanni won't help them.
Yeah.
Behold, that's your plot point.
Yeah, Chronicle. Heist.
That's your
Steal
entire
from Italian.
Yeah, have your all Ravnos campaign where you got to steal from Giovanni and get the Book of Nod.
I mean, Ravnos are very famous in Sabbat. I mean, before Week of Nightmares.
Yeah, for their burglary. So that's how you do it. You got to steal the Book of Nod, and behold, we'll find out whether or not Zapath Ashura is actually dead or not.
Very nice.
And, well, business as usual continues. We go further after Victorian era, all the way over into reading through this book, getting to my spot. Yeah, I just talked about Claudius dying. Okay, the Industrial Age. 19th century, the Giovanni go from being really rich to stupid rich. You've now got more money than the Ventru. Incredible. You've the Giovanni are sitting on more money than entire countries' treasuries with what they've been able to do. They are Pentex before Pentex. But speaking of which, Pentex comes into existence. And the Giovanni look at this and say, an American company that's got all this money, but it's worth checking out. Here, Enzo, my grandson, you go over, you check these guys out, you tell us what's going on with Pentex. And Enzo goes over, and after a while, Enzo doesn't call, he doesn't send a letter, he doesn't show up for birthdays. What's going on with him? So Augustus Giovanni calls Pentex and says, hey, what's going on with an Enzo? Oh, we don't know. Oh, what do you mean you don't know? We here at Pentex value the safety of all of our associates, but we are not directly responsible for anything that happens with them. If you have an issue with this policy, please direct this call to Human Resources. And they just hang up on Giovanni. Well,
you just crisis averted. Okay.
Yeah, you just made an enemy for life.
Imagine that secretary the next day.
Yeah,
what did you done?
The entire vampire clan hates us now.
With the antediluvian on the head who's walking.
Now, you also notice here, the Glasswalkers are brought up in this book by name in the relationships page. And who else is rising to power around the same point as the initial age?
Glasswalkers. Dr. Roach.
Yeah, back when they were known as the Iron Riders, and they had Starbridge Lion as their totem.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, with this, the Giovanni look over at the Iron Riders and say, you hate Pentex, you hate Standard Oil, we hate them just as much. You want to partner up? And they accept it. And this contract with the Glassworkers forms in the 20s, to where the Glassworkers or Giovanni are working with each other to take Pentex down.
Kind of based.
But also, Glasswalkers, you are directly colluding with the people that want to do the Ghostbusters protection racket.
They don't know about this.
Yeah.
It's in Vienna.
As if the Glassworkers weren't fucked enough, as if they weren't cooked with the Weaver and Cockroach. You have the Giovanni to worry about because they might sick those ghosts on you in your office buildings.
And you know what they'll do? The court of friendly neighborhood Streiter.
They're going to have to call...
They'll cheers with moonshine.
Who are you going to call? Johnny, who are you going to call?
They're going to have to call Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. That's right. Let's go. That's who.
I thought about you saying Ghostbusters and Silent Striders because I say
no, they were. Those are the Ghostbusters.
I know it's actors, but I mean the actual name. Like he would like literally be saying like Ghostbusters or Silent Striders.
No, that would be me.
No.
Call your friendly neighborhood Silent Strider. I take care of all your ghost problems.
See, what are their names too? Like Venkman. They're like weird ass last names.
Yeah, they really are.
Oh, I can't wait for my date with Peter Venkman.
Yep.
So hot sounding.
Peter.
Oh, voice crack.
Oh, Peter.
Peter.
That was voice crack. That was voice change.
That was a voice crack.
Lois is so distinct. You gotta go into a different voice with her.
Yeah, I get this.
And we get a little fun story in this book too. So you know the Samity? We're finally going to get an answer on the Samity. How did Samity come into existence?
Whoa, yeah.
So what happens is that Giovanni is just chilling out in his home in Venice one day, and then, yo, Mr. White, someone at the door. Who is it? And they open up, and it's this dude who looks like a shriveled raisin, dressed in a purple suit, and he goes, "What's good, everybody?" And he just walks right into the house, and Giovanni's looking at him.
Just walked into our house. What the fuck?
He just walks right in, and Giovanni's saying, "What the fuck? You smell like us, but you don't look like us. I distinctly remember telling my clan not to sire any nincompoops into the clan." And they have this massive argument that results in Baron Samity and Augustus Giovanni hating each other's guts after the conversation. But Baron Samity did come with a little bit of information. He says, you know that that weird urn that's in the Capuchin's room? And they say, yeah, what's in it? That little last vial of Cappadocian blood you're looking for, that's inside the urn. What? So he calls on the
Runs to
Capuchin. He calls the Capuchin over and says, "You got some explaining to do." And the Capuchin says, "Look, I look what's in the urn. There's no blood in here." And he opens it up, and there's just this gigantic layer of beeswax in the urn. And it says, "Have you ever tried digging into the beeswax and seeing what's in it?" "I've tried, and I've gone at this with claws, potents, swords, picks. I can't remove the beeswax." Giovanni says, "Here, let me see that." He tries to disintegrate the beeswax. It doesn't work. It's magic beeswax. It's got a magic seal on it that's keeping the vial inside of it, and Capuchin didn't know about this. So as it turns out, you killed Claudius for nothing, but he doesn't think about that.
No, of course he doesn't.
And
Yes,
now
yes,
they're
no.
just now he's got this sitting on his nightstand where he's trying to figure out, how do I remove this beeswax, and how do I get this blood, and how do I fully control Cappadocians? And that's your cliffhanger. But it's not, because we have a little bit more that happens in second edition. Now, you remember the Sixth Great Maelstrom? That little event that happened because Ravnos woke up and
Caused
then,
the weekend
Oh, the
nightmares.
Yeah.
the brawl between nukes in the in the Stygia.
And then in Stygia, the Smiling Lord says, "Oh, the Void Engineers are setting off a nuke. Let me also put my 2 nukes next to that nuke. We're going to put those nukes next to the first city in Stygia. We're going to blow it up and see what happens."
Legalize
that's-
nuclear bombs.
Yes. Which causes this massive storm in the Shadowlands that destroys a shit ton of Wraiths, every mage's avatar, the Tenocracy out in outer space that become the Borg, and also every Wraith that the Giovanni had collected. It specifically hits the vault that they were keeping the Wraiths in. And the long night goes up in smoke. Great. So now the Giovanni are just in a position where we've got to collect all those souls all over again. It's going to take however long, and this sucks. And that's where they are now. They're just stewing over that we were about to pull off the plot of Ghostbusters, and now it's gone. Great.
And they make it the second movie, and they will figure out.
We gotta make
to
a second
delete the
movie.
program.
We gotta call Vigo, Master of Evil, to come in. Or now you might be thinking, wouldn't that plan kind of work in the worm's favor? No, the Defiler Worm thinks Giovanni's a joke. She's laughing at Augustus Giovanni. Because if she wanted to, she could have had Pentex work with the Giovanni, and she would have had all of the world's money under her control. She doesn't want the Giovanni. She wants to do this on her own with Pentex, and that's why the two don't like each other. Giovanni is a direct enemy to Pentex, and they're in a race with Pentex to see who can own the most businesses in America. Whatever property that the Giovanni doesn't own, Pentex will buy it, and they will try to undercut the Giovanni in America to see how many businesses they can have. In Europe, not so much.
I think it's like worldwide, not in America.
Yeah, because Pentex owns a company in just about every country, but the
Yeah,
Giovanni,
so was Giovanni.
for the most part, they have control over Europe's commerce. But Pentex does still have a say in it, because Pentex owns this world's version of Google. You have to go to Pentex for that, or the Weaver owns it, depending on whether or not you want Pentex or Shinzui to be the strongest in your game.
I want
And-
like the Internet Explorer to be worm
But-
site.
That probably
yeah,
is.
it probably is. It's
It's very
called
easy to get
Edge
hacked on
now,
that.
but whatever.
And the Giovanni, what business in particular do they really specialize in? Banking. That's what they specialize in. Finance. If you want to invest something, if you want to take out a loan, if you want collateral on anything, you have to go to the Giovanni for it. They completely control the flow of commerce in Europe and a decent portion of America. Because there's no way you can really have money in the world of darkness without consulting some sort of dark entity. It's impossible. So behold, Bonars, you were right all along.
Yep. Lo and behold.
And what else with the Giovanni? Well, there's also how their story ends, where they never get the chance to do the protection racket again. And then the Harbingers of Skulls come out, they start killing the Giovanni, and then Augustus Giovanni and with the Red Star in the sky heads off to Kamakli, where the Harbingers were sealed, with the urn with the beeswax in it, to try to do this ritual called apotheosis, where through a ritual magic, he tries to seize control over Cappadocians' full power, only for you and your players and your party to corner him in Kamakli and kill him. And then the Giovanni crumbles after that. And that's how that story ends.
That's fair.
But yeah, don't kill off the Giovanni just yet. These guys are cool, keeping them around in your games. Because while I guess they have a canonical death in 2004, but I like these guys too much to kill them off.
Yeah. And by the way, if they die, they could be turned to wraiths.
They can. So behold, you can start them up with Wraith the Oblivion. Well, it's an enemy. It's an evil faction you can just keep using again and again.
Very, very versatile that way.
Now, what happens if the Giovanni have a woman in the family? If she marries a man, isn't that going to become a different family? Yes, we have 3 sub-families within the Giovanni. You ready to hear about these guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So take a guess, which European country are we going to for this family?
España.
Let's see. There is a Spanish family, but not these guys. These are the Dunzerns, who are Scottish.
All right then, let's go Scotland.
Hey, you don't like this, but I heard about this in 5th edition Vampire.
Yeah, they brought them up and they
Yeah.
were terrible in 5e. They were nothing like they were supposed to be. The Dunzerns, you spell this Dunsirin, where they're these Scottish cannibals. They eat people. They are the White Glove Society from New Vegas, where they look like, oh, we're fancy bankers, we have casinos, we have all these clubs and hotels and spas, and then you go into that building and you never come out because they eat you.
Very nice.
And Augustus Giovanni said, hey, you got a lot of money, and we got some bodies we need to get rid of. You want to partner up? I said, sure, let's do it. And behold, a beautiful partnership was started between the two.
Yep.
And the thing is, the Dunzerns are all scheming geniuses. They say if you're making these guys as a character, go all in on mental attributes. Do everything you can to boost your intelligence, your wits, and your perception as high as it will go.
It's
on top of that,
devouring man, my love.
And on top of that, these guys aren't pussies. They will get in the thick of it and they will fight on the street. This is the more, well, not necessarily the most militant branch of the Giovanni, but they'll go. There's no weak members of the Dungeon families. They go and they fight. And
So mental and then physical attributes.
yeah, they're genius bruisers, so to speak. And the fun thing about them, you want to know what the Dunzerns were? They were hypothesized to be Fianna kinfolk.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. They were a family of Fianna that were starting to go down the path of the worm.
Oh, Tyler!
But Giovanni got to them before they could dance the Black Spiral.
I don't want to talk about it.
Talk to Cousin Durns.
No.
Come here, lads.
Now, would you say this is necessarily better that they end up with the Giovanni instead of dancing the Black Spiral?
Yes.
Well, see, here's the thing. Short term, maybe. The long term, however, I mean, yeah, they're going to live forever because they're vampires, but they're also markedly weaker than Garrow still.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a Black Spiral in the short term would be, fucking terrifying to deal with, but Black Spirals don't live all that long because nothing the worm builds actually lasts.
Which is why they did the Werewolf project.
Yeah, but also, they are eternally bound to Malpheus. So that's not good either.
I would say it's better that they became vampires because you can at least reason with the Giovanni. You can't do that with Pentex.
Yep.
I mean, they're not inherently wormish, but I think there is a hint there.
Yeah, they directly dabble with the forces of Oblivion. They're playing a very dangerous game. All right, next up are the Pisanob. You spell it Pisanob. Now, what country are they from?
You said Spain.
Yes and no. They're Aztecs, come to think of it.
Oh, interesting.
That's not Spain at all.
No, here's the story. They start off as this group of Aztecs who are these blood clerics in the Aztec Empire who were taking bodies, bleeding them dry, taking their hearts, setting them on fire, imprisoning their souls, and binding them to eternal servitude to the family. So when Hernandez Cortez comes over and begins a conquest of South America, the peace knobs slide in, start breeding with the Spanish, quickly disguise themselves as the Spanish Empire, and then participate in killing their fellow man. I guess Giovanni thinks this is funny, and while the conquest is going on, contacts the peace knobs and brings them into the Giovanni. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. They're very good necromancers and they're collecting wraiths. So behold, you bring these guys in, that's however many ghosts over however many years you just added to the quota. It's good business, Kyle.
Yeah, it is. They're businessmen.
If you don't know what what someone wants, he always wants money.
He always wants money. They just did it for a business, entirely for business. The thing with the peace knobs, however, is that they don't have the usual painful kiss flaw that the Giovanni do. They instead look like zombies. You shrivel up like a raisin, you lose your eyeballs, and you need auspex to see. And you are very obviously a zombie when you are a peace knob. There's not that many of these guys because it's super obvious as to what you are. But they are hanging around because a few of them will be in Europe and a few of them are, most of them are in South America, leading death cults, and they're pretending to be Apuash, the Aztec god of the dead, where they go around, collect souls, make zombies, and then add on to the endless night.
Yeah, but also I like to feel like Giovanni talked to them, but with somebody he didn't. But they look like literally the same.
Yeah, they look like the same. Maybe that's where the Yosemite got started. I don't know. Maybe Peace Knob sired somebody in the Caribbean and just never told Giovanni about it.
Yeah, probably.
That probably is the most logical explanation. And what's next? The Milliners. This is the most recent addition to the family. Francis Milliner was an Irish Bostonian that was working in the mafia with his friend Joe Kennedy for their father, PJ Kennedy. And it looked like after PJ died that the business was going to go to Francis. Are you kidding me, Francis? Did you think that was going to happen? No, of course it went to Joe. And Francis stewed about this for years and years until eventually he couldn't take it anymore. He approached Augustus Giovanni and said, if you put a contract out on Joe and you kill him and you make me the company heir, I will do everything in my power to funnel as much money into the Giovanni as possible. And another business decision is made. They do it. Francis Milliner becomes the head of this massive trading company in Boston. All the stevedores in Boston, they now have to answer to Francis Milliner. And for a reward of collecting so much money in such a small amount of time, he gets embraced, and now we have a new branch of the Giovanni, the Bostonian Giovanni. But these guys are very young. Milliner diabolized one of Giovanni's granddaughters. It's going to take a long story to explain that. We're going to have to go to the Giovanni Chronicles for that. But in doing so, he becomes Generation 9. Everyone else in the Milliner family is Generation 10 and lower. This goes all the way down to Generation 14 and 15, where they are caitiff by this point.
Caitiff are not thin bloods?
Yeah, they're 16 is a thin blood.
16 is a thin blood. Okay.
Yeah, 16 is a thin blood. So thank you, Milliner. You're directly speeding us closer and closer to Gehenna with doing this. You sired way too many vampires way too quickly, dog. You've only been around for 40 years and you already embraced that many people? Holy fuck.
He's been busy.
Yeah. And you've also got a few other here and there families that get mentioned. You got the Pasagilas, who are in China and Japan. You've got the Ghiberti, who are in sub-Saharan Africa. You've got the Puttanesca, who are the mass producers of zombies that make the undead armies for the Giovanni. And then you have the Rosalinis, who are the... it's the Rosalinis who... I'm reading this right. They're the ones that are making the human. Let me start that again. The Putanescas are human traffickers. That's what they are. Where they're doing what the Setites are doing. They're kidnapping people and selling them into sex slavery. That's what they're doing. They're the dirty side of the Giovanni's business.
Right.
And the Rosalinis are the ones making the zombie armies for them. Sorry about that retraction. All right. So what do you think of that? Try to play the Setite game.
I'd
I
rather
think
be
they
them
do-
than the Setites, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. And same thing with what the Giovanni will do to keep those people in service. Something that Giovanni do with their ghouls and their associates is that they will intentionally get them addicted to drugs, specifically drugs mixed with their vampire vitae, so they can get some mind control involved. But if you want to leave the familia, or if you want to try betraying them, they go cold turkey on that drug, and you go through the worst withdrawal of your life after that happens. Kyle, would you like to quit drinking alcohol cold turkey?
I mean, it'd probably be good for me.
Because if you're at the point of being a full-on alcoholic, your brain produces a chemical compound, to skip the scientific name, GABA, which calms you down in moments of high stress and anxiety. If you are a high anxiety or depressed person that has gone through major depressive disorder or something like that for years, that part of your brain that produces that chemical permanently shrinks. You will start going into alcoholism to substitute your GABA, because alcohol will give you a similar feeling to what GABA is supposed to do for you. The problem is that GABA will less and less of it will be produced as you drink alcohol, because your brain will stop producing it every time you drink alcohol. You get to the point where you become dependent on it to stay calm. And when you stop drinking it cold turkey, you go to the point where you are experiencing panic attacks and horrible anxiety attacks for the rest of your life after you stop drinking cold turkey. This is why you have so many alcoholics that will relapse, because you actually have gotten to the point where you are dependent on alcohol to function in society. This is what the Giovanni does with you. They intentionally fry and cook your brain to make sure that you are dependent on the familia for the rest of your life.
So this is your brain on drugs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, standard mafia tactics. Because this is super easy to talk about in terms of culture. You want to talk about the Giovanni culture? Look at the Italian mafia. There's your culture.
Go
whole-
watch The Godfather.
Godfather.
Go watch the
Yeah,
fucking Goodfellas.
This is the
Sopranos.
Go watch Casino.
this has been the easiest culture portion we've ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what they do. It's this. It's
This
just
is
this.
what you got. It's just delicious. We'll have a slash shredder eat it.
It's probably
And-
no.
Drip so hard on that brain you won't come back down.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
how does the embrace work? How are you embracing to Giovanni? The Giovanni gave us a statistic. They say only 75 people within the Giovanni they're ghouls. Only 25% of them are vampires. They have more ghouls than any clan in existence, more so than the Ventru. And it's because they realized the masquerade a little important. They need to find a way to enforce this without doing a whole convention of thorns type shit. So what they do is that if you're a man, if you're an associate within the mafia, it works a lot like the actual mafia. You become an associate, you're not exactly in the Giovanni, but you work with the Giovanni. And you have to prove your loyalty, you have to collect a certain amount of money. If you're a thug, if you're a soldier, you will never get promoted. If you're a racketeer, if you have a business that's bringing in money, you'll be given the offer of receiving the proxy kiss, where you'll be brought into a room, you'll be given a wine glass that has Giovanni blood in it. You drink it, you become ghouled, you're closer and closer to becoming a made man. To become a made man within the Giovanni, they put you through the entire ritual where you come in, you write your name in the book, you have a you have a picture of the burning you have a picture of the Virgin Mary in your hand. You drop your blood on that. You set that picture on fire. They tell you if you betrayed the familia, you would go against the family, you will burn in hell the same way the saint is burning in your hand. And then you have a massive dinner afterwards. And then, behold, you are now next in line to become a vampire. To finish the process of becoming a Giovanni, you have to marry into the family. That's how you become a Giovanni. After that marriage is done, though your honeymoon involves you getting embraced, and now you are a Giovanni vampire. Process is done. And the whole
If you
process
thought
takes
Asimite-
around...
if you thought Asimites had long
Yeah.
uh,
With the
siren
Assamites,
process, look at this.
yeah, the Assamites, it's 14 years. With the Giovanni, it's 80 years before it finally becomes a Giovanni.
Jesus.
And you're not super old when you become a Giovanni thanks to ghouling. That slows down your aging process. But there's a lot of guys who look like middle-aged men within the Giovanni. Because just how long the process of siring is with the Giovanni. And if you get divorced, that doesn't cut you out of the clan. If you want to get cut out of the clan, you need to bomb at your job as a Giovanni so badly that Augustus Giovanni puts a contract out on you. And that's what
Or
happens.
the G word.
Exactly right. Because
Yep.
as it turns out, the Giovanni hate homosexuals. Augustus Giovanni personally has an issue with gay people. If he finds out that you're gay in the Giovanni, it's an automatic blood hunt. I'm not even kidding you.
Jesus.
Where
So like
and-
that scene from Coonscombe was incorrect then.
Yeah, but like that's those queer sons of a bitches that are the Godfather's sons. That's not a thing with the Giovanni.
No.
No.
Now keep that in mind, Rap Red, when we run Disco by Night on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I have ties to Giovanni.
Yeah.
I like my character a lot. I think he was like in the process, like I think he was gold,
Yeah.
but then he was sold by the other clan.
It took too long to become a Giovanni, so little Sombra took you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the big reason as to why the Giovanni stay in low numbers, is because associates get sick of the waiting process and just walk over to the Bruja
I mean,
and
he
the
was like
Bruja.
he was forcefully embraced, but still, yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
Sombra want members. The Sombra want people to join them. The Giovanni, not so much.
Yeah.
And what else with the Giovanni? The incest issue. As it turns out, Clanbook Giovanni First Edition confirms that a male vampire can get a human woman pregnant. Even though a male vampire, you're not coming semen, you're coming blood as a vampire. So maybe don't do oral if you're a vampire, unless you want to ghoul somebody that way.
Somebody
That
pull up the
sounds horrifying.
Yes. Somebody pull up
Holy
the video
fuck.
from Cannibal Corpse. I come blood.
Wait a minute.
That
If you could do that, what set I'd been doing?
I don't even want to think about that. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
That's rough.
It's like reverse Chinese blood, you know,
Jesus Christ.
censorship. It turned blood white, but this is reverse.
Oh yeah, I've
That's
seen
so
that. It's
weird. Why is your
ridiculous.
sock pink?
You have Dracula comes out to you and goes, "I want to suck your dick." It just drinks the blood right off your penis.
That's
Jesus.
fuck's sake.
Okay, that was too much, Johnny. You have to calm down.
No, he's on the Schadenfreude. He's just gonna keep laughing.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
calm down. I'm trying to bring myself back.
So yeah, I'm excited by Disco by Night, and there's an incest issue in
Yeah.
Giovanni's.
Yeah,
Moving on.
so- Yeah. A female Giovanni cannot get pregnant because your womb doesn't work because of the stasis properties of being a vampire. But as it turns out, a male vampire can impregnate a human woman. And Giovanni wants there to be only Giovanni within his clan. You have to have a marriage. You have to be married into the family to be a Giovanni. So what the Giovanni men are doing is that they're finding human wives by the dozen, impregnating them, and then that's how they make their lower generation vampires. The Enzo Giovanni and Claudius Giovanni had many wives before their deaths.
So that
And-
polyamorous, or it's just that?
and
What's up?
Second, they don't get divorced. that's not a thing that happens. Did I say did it get divorced before? That doesn't happen because every Giovanni is quote unquote Catholic. They only do that as a means of enforcing control over the clan. They just use Catholicism as control. But like the Catholics, you don't get a divorce in the Giovanni. You have to wait for your wife or husband to die.
Catholics don't get divorced.
Or you could just cheat. You can just do that.
That's fair.
Yeah. And yeah, that's how you make more Giovanni.
You laid
So-
down some pipe with a broad, and there you go. Another bambino covered in prosciutto comes out 9 months later.
And along with this, a lot of Giovanni get cabin fever because Giovanni is such an authoritarian. Sometimes his sons don't get to leave. You don't, and he wants to arrange your marriage. So sometimes a Giovanni who's just a little bit frisky can't wait. The only women in the house are their sisters. So if you're not going to let them have a woman, they're going to have each other. And that happened once in the Giovanni, and now that has stuck with that entire clan for the rest of their lives. It's that, what is that parable? You build 100 bridges, you're a bridge builder. You build 100 bridges and you suck one dick, you're a dick sucker. That's what happens with the Giovanni.
I don't know where that came from, but I like that. It's really funny.
That's what
I mean,
that's
I
what the
wanted to
Giovanni
like
are.
see like Giovanni is like looking around the factions and they're like, what can inspire something from them so my clan can be stronger? What is that? Silver fangs. What they do?
See. Yeah, well, they fuck their own daughters, so I guess we gotta do the same.
Well, they not gay.
Yep, they're fascist to a T. So
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, behold,
A little bit.
you found a perfect person to smell yourself after.
Just a
There's
bit.
also, with the family aspect of the Giovanni, none of the family members in the Giovanni really love each other, as made apparent with how good of a father Augustus Giovanni was to Claudius Giovanni. So it kind of plays this contrast to the Wendigo, because the Wendigo are very mean and bitter werewolves, but they all genuinely love each other. That's an actual unified family with the Wendigo. So I love that you could have this ongoing rivalry in your games between Wendigo and Giovanni, because Rapid, you said so yourself when we were playing Werewolf earlier today, that Inns the Road and Aput would definitely fight each other. And
I mean, like they would have a brawl.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but Inns the Road and Aput couldn't bring themselves to hate each other because they're still Wendigo.
Oh no, absolutely.
It's like they
I
would
mean,
just...
I said it itself. Like he wouldn't start a thing, but I think ends would start and it would just enrage him.
Yes.
They would probably just like beat the shit out of each other for a couple hours, and then like after all like beaten down and bloody, they'd just sit on the side of the mountain and just have a cigarette between them, just like, yeah. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Same time next
Couple
week.
hours.
Yeah.
I can one shot her. And
I mean,
would
each
see
of you
a
could probably
lot
one
of
shot each other. Well, then again,
We-
Aput's
we-
a much
no,
higher rank than
we did the
than
math
Ends the Road.
on mechanics, and because Aput has Might of Thor, he actually could outdo Grim in terms of damage.
Well, I
with
mean,
Might
what
of
rank
Thor.
is Aput?
Uh,
3.
Technically 3 at the end, but in your short story, he is technically a 4.
Yeah,
Because
that
I
makes
think
sense.
there's a lot of renown killing Messiah over Ratkin and Bane
Yeah,
the size of a fucking building.
Yeah, ensuring that New York City stays under werewolf control. That would definitely bring in a whole bunch of renown.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Find a Galliard to
And-
sing your praises, and bam, money.
And I think that's it with the Giovanni culture as of right now. Let's talk about disciplines.
Yes.
Let's talk about disciplines.
What
What
disciplines
disciplines
is
do-
there?
They have the same disciplines as the Cappadocians, I do
That's-
believe.
No, they
Where-
have dominance, fortitude, and necromancy.
Oh, they treated out aspects for dominate.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Because forgetful mind will help you if you feed and your kiss is deadly.
And they traded out aspects for protean. Oh, sorry.
No,
No, potence. That's sorry.
no, they
'Cause
don't have potence. They
Yeah.
have a dominance and
The
fortitude.
Giovanni don't have potence.
No,
I'm looking at this right now. Potence dominating necromancy.
in V20, I think they didn't have potence.
Is it in V20? All right, well, let's pull this up right now. Let's pull up V20. All right. No, see,
I mean, I can be absolutely wrong as well.
let's go to Soligio Wiki. Let's here we go. Okay. Dominate necromancy potence.
Potence? No, I think it's
Yeah,
like
that can't be right.
Why are you reading right now? V20?
I mean, yeah.
It looks like in second edition that was their array. Dominate potence and
Necromancy. That's what I'm saying.
So they changed it in V20.
Oh,
Oh.
weird.
I mean, fortitude is Cappadocians.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I don't know why would they, take that away. Like the fortitude of a dead man.
Yeah, if fortitude is just a useful power to have in general.
I mean, you have to have like 5 dots, like you want to fight like werewolf on like even
Well,
ground.
Yep. Well, now the Giovanni can punch with a werewolf on even footing with potence.
Yeah, but it's like who moves first.
That's going to be a hell of a quick draw.
Yeah, it is. It's initiative or nothing.
Yeah.
And we continue talking about necromancy where we left off, because necromancy is just a little different with the Giovanni, just a little different.
Yeah.
So, do you have 3 paths to pick from? Which one do you want to talk about, Ryan?
I sent you a thing, or you said it was the first 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's specular, ash and bone,
Sepulcher.
sepulcher, specular, same thing.
Yeah.
Same difference.
And then the ash path and the bones path.
Yeah. All right. Should I roll a d3?
Yes.
All right. In that order.
Yeah.
Whatever
And
you said, bone and ash.
And then a little note also, there is no such thing as a Giovanni anti-tribute, by the way. You don't leave the Giovanni. If you leave the Giovanni, every member of the Giovanni will come after you and will kill you.
That
All
is
right.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there
So
are
it's
no
like
Giovanni.
no
in the Sabbat.
anti-tribute. You just immediately get blood hunted, and that's the end of it.
There are no Giovanni in the Sabbat.
Oh,
Yeah.
not yet. Anyway.
Yeah. This is if you
One
count
might live, we never
harbingers,
know.
I guess, but the harbingers are the harbingers.
My d3 rolled a bone path.
All right, let's do the bones. Let's talk about the bones.
All right. The bone path is primarily
Mr. Bones, won't you tell us a song, Mr. Bones?
used with corpses and dead souls.
Yeah. Now, if I'm right, this is the good one. This is the really good one.
We're going to start off with the first level, or
Tremens.
walkway. What would it be called? Level?
Yeah, the first level.
All right. I'm going to call them walkways because that's
Mr. Wolf Damian, the walkway.
Paths
Right,
and
especially-
walkways.
Did Johnny said his classic?
It's classic.
No, it's the Murashigoraki power from My Hero Academia.
Oh no, not this path. We're doing the bones path.
Fuck.
Yeah, not this one.
I will create bingo card, and it will be like Johnny laughs, mentions Tomura Shigaraki, and something else, and like it will be like O and X game.
See there, and play along at home when the sheet is finally made.
Yeah.
Tremens. Tremens allows a necromancer to make the flesh of a corpse shift once. An arm might suddenly flop forward, a cadaver might sit up, or dead eyes might abruptly open. This sort of thing tends to have an oppressive impact on people who aren't expecting a departed relative to roll over in his coffin. To use Tremens, the necromancer spends a single blood point, and the player must succeed on a dexterity and occult roll, difficulty 6. The more successes that are achieved, the more complicated an action can be affected into the corpse. One success allows for an instantaneous movement, such as a twitch, while 5 allow the vampire to set up a specific condition under which the body animates. An example they give is the next time someone enters the room, I want the corpse to sit up and open its eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Under no circumstances can tremens cause a dead body to attack or cause damage. Now, that last sentence.
It's got its uses. You gotta be creative with it.
What? So, like, could you have an arm fly out, knocking a candle over, lighting
Yes.
something on fire?
Yes, as long as the corpse itself,
Because
as long as the corpse itself isn't doing it. Yeah.
Because that would be considered because you're attacking a candle.
Yeah. You're
And
moving the
the
candle, yeah, but
the effect of knocking over the candle is causing damage to players because it's going to open flames.
that's what I'm saying. You gotta be creative with this power.
I mean, indirectly, but yeah. I think it's like the Omni-Man meme when Zimichi look at Giovanni. Look what they see. Look what they need to mimic fraction of our power.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly that.
Just to move dead flesh a little bit.
I guess another example of how you could use this is say you're trying to get away from something that has a high sense of hearing.
Yeah.
And there's a dead body across the room. You use this, make some arm movements to make some shuffling noises and escape.
Yeah, that's good too.
Or you covered the exit door.
Yeah.
Someone kills your zombie and you move him so he doesn't escape.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have the legs walk so it looks like it's still alive.
Same with the sheer intimidation factor you're doing too, because seeing that, like a pair of legs standing up and walking around, that's gonna scare the hell out of somebody.
Especially with the body flopped all over.
Yeah, it even if you're a vampire, it's gonna freak you out seeing it for the first time.
The second walkway is the apprentice's brooms. With apprentice's brooms, the necromancer can make a dead body rise and perform a simple function. For an example, the corpse could be set to carry heavy objects like digging. Oh, sorry. Carry heavy objects, digging, or just shambling from place to place. This is an even better example of the legs walking.
Yeah.
The cadavers, thus animated, do not attack or defend themselves if interfered with, but instead attempt to carry out their given instructions until such a time as they've been rendered inanimate. Generally, it takes dismemberment, flame, or something similar to destroy a corpse animated in this way. So the player rolls a roll of wits and occult difficulty 7, and the expenditure of a point of both blood and willpower. That's expensive.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Are all that are, especially for something that doesn't attack or defend.
Of course, it's necromancy. It's gotta be super expensive. You're raising the dead.
Are all that are necessary to animate the corpses with apprentices' brooms. The number of corpses animated is equal to the number of successes achieved. The necromancer must then state the task to which they have set. My brain stopped working.
A little bit
Which he
self-explanatory, but
is
this power does.
setting his zombies.
Mhm.
That sentence did not make any sense to me.
Yes.
The cadavers turn themselves to their work until they finish the job, at which point they collapse, or something, including time, destroys them. Corpses animated in this way have no initiative of their own and are unable to make value judgments. They respond to very literal instructions. Thus, a zombie could be told to sweep this room every day until all the dust and cobwebs are gone, or transcribe this manuscript with an expectation of reasonable results. While a more open-ended command, such as fix this motorcycle or research this necromantic ritual and write down the results, would be doomed to failure.
Yes.
They do continue to decay, but really slow. Slower than normal.
Right.
I'm not going to go over the statistics unless you want me to, Johnny.
I mean, you look at that. It's like strength 3, dexterity 2, stamina 4, brawl 2. And
Not the
if
best
you want to
fighters,
style your
but
zombie with,
they're beefy.
Yeah. yeah,
Hold
if you want to cover them in armor, by the way,
Why Brawl 2? Well, armor is not going to do anything because they can't defend or attack. That's what I don't understand. Brawl
yeah,
2?
now, what you want to do is you want to have them like grab onto somebody and slow them down. That's what you do with these guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
And-
remember when it slowed me down.
Because
In
we
the Halloween
had
special.
in the Halloween special, you fought one, and that took up the entire combat session.
I was in a
What?
helmet. I didn't know if I could go into Krynos.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm punching him with human hands and it did nothing.
Yeah, you're,
And
you're
I said,
fighting.
fuck it. I'm going to Abra.
The
Bye.
most I can see this doing is block my path.
Mm,
Or not
yeah,
block my path.
exact-
Block the
that's
path
the-
behind me.
Because that's the meta with this path, is that you make zombies to slow down your enemies and set them up for kills while they're distracted with your zombies. That's what you do. Because you remember when we had Dentiste in the group, that's what he was doing.
Oh, was he?
Yes. Just
It's been
you had-
so long since.
you
Ran
you-
just
that game.
erased him from memory.
yeah, you
Yeah.
had because he had a wall of 6 zombies that would just get in the way of other enemies. And that's why he was doing as well as he was in that fight.
That is the
They do
Imagine
have
effect.
if he
10
was
levels of
sober.
health.
I feel like this is a pain in the ass to run as a DM. It's like when somebody takes Path of the or not Path,
The Necromancy Wizard starts using conjure animals in
Either-
D&D.
yeah, either the Necromancy Wizard or the Path of the Shepherd as a druid.
Yeah, don't play Path of the Shepherd. Just be nice to your DM. Don't run that.
I want to play Necromancer in a campaign so bad.
The Necromancer's fine because it's a zombie. The zombie is easy enough, and the zombie you can at least equip weapons with.
But
But
it's a zombie stat
it's
block too. You
ghouls
don't.
and-
You don't. It's just one stat block compared to like all of the fucking animals in the monster compendium.
yeah, the
I
Necromancer's
summoned
fun.
47 gooses.
I would do that.
I hate the druid so
That would
much.
be really, really funny though. Just like an army of entitled goose game.
Yes.
Especially in Johnny's game.
That a dumbass goose that chased me in the parking lot.
Yes. It
That-
was like revenge.
It was standing next to my hat and wouldn't let me get my hat back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine 47 of those.
Yeah. I'm not gonna have any hats afterwards.
Well,
Would
you
you
should
rather
buy
take on-
48 hats then. They can only hold on to one hat at a time.
Let's see. Shambling hordes. Tell me what this does. Now this is when it gets good.
Yes, the Shambling Hordes, it creates a obvious
Obvious results.
result. It creates obvious results.
Yes.
Reanimated corpses with the ability to attack, albeit neither very well nor very quickly. Once primed by this power, the corpses wait 4 years, if necessary, to fulfill the command given to them. The order might be protect a certain site or simply attack immediately, but they will be carried out until every last one of the decomposing monsters is destroyed.
Mhm.
See, right now there could be a horde of zombies waiting for a specific fulfillment before they get unleashed.
Yes. This is why the Giovanni are very hard to attack, because you've got dozens of zombies waiting for you outside the door that will
I'm not,
jump you all at once.
I'm not talking dozens. I'm talking thousands.
Yeah.
Especially if the vampires lived for a very long time.
Yeah, you got the terracotta soldiers kind of scenario.
Yeah. Once you reach a certain number, they all start attacking.
And look
Or
how
something
cheap
like
they are to make too.
The player spends a point of willpower.
That's it.
What?
That's
That-
it.
That's it.
No
That's it.
vitae, just willpower.
That's it.
The
Yeah,
player must succeed a wits plus occult roll difficulty 8. Oh. I can see why.
You put
it's a
enough
little
points
thin.
into that, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually.
Not with the way I've been rolling.
Bro, same.
Each success allows the vampire to raise another corpse from the grave at the cost of one and costs 1 blood point. Oh, that's not cheap at all.
No.
Yeah. So the blood point, yeah, that's the expensive spot, but still, if for power this versatile, it's good.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I told you about that Cappadocian character when the one shot. This was the power that saved me in that game.
I got you.
Because I went all in on necromancy and I took this.
If the player cannot or chooses not to play blood point cost of a
Or of additional zombies.
or chooses not to pay the blood point cost of additional zombies past a certain number, the extra successes are simply lost. Each zombie can follow one simple instruction, such as stay here and guard this graveyard against any intruders, or kill them. Note, zombies created by shambling hordes will wait forever if need be to fulfill their functions. After the flesh has rotted off their mystical animated bones, the zombie will wait and wait and wait, still able to perform their duties.
So you could have an army of skeletons?
Yes.
There's an army of skeletons out
So
there
they got a
somewhere.
bone to pick with us.
Hey!
Yeah.
Who's there? A skeleton. Red skeleton.
All right, Ruggy, what are we gonna do?
You could say it's a skull issue.
So, well, behold, it is the spooky month vampire.
Somebody
I love-
start playing a xylophone, quick.
Yeah, this is the obvious power to take when you're playing a Giovanni. It's so obvious to take this.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got.
The next walkway is soul stealing.
I think
Mhm.
T saved my ass with this.
So behold the power behind this power.
This power affects the living, not the dead. It does, however, temporarily turn a living soul into a sword of Wraith, as it allows a necromancer to strip a soul from a living body. A mortal exiled from his body by this power becomes a wraith with a single tie to the real world, his now empty body.
Now take a look at this. Take a look at these mechanics and think about what this does.
The player spends a point of willpower and then makes a contested willpower roll against the intended victim, difficulty 6. Successes indicate the number of hours during which the original soul is forced out of its housing. The body itself remains autonomous. I can't fucking say that. Autonomically alive, but catatonic. This power can be used to create suitable hosts for demonic possession. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say demonic.
Yep.
Close enough.
Well, yes and no, but yeah, continue.
It has no effect on kindred or other supernatural creatures except ghouls, which until such creatures are dead. In the case of vampires, this means final death.
Yeah. Now, I use this wrong.
That is pretty cheap.
When we did Vampire by Night, I did run this. Las Vegas by Night, I did run this wrong because the story was supposed to be dead before you could use his power. But at the same time, hunters, for the hunters hunted, any ghoul that you fight, instant kill if you use this on them. That just boom, combat counter over if you use this on them.
Like I said, Dentis, who, we had to cut from the game because he kept showing up high, when he actually gave a shit about it, me and him were on a roof trying to fight an Octana that was sending wraiths after us. I got one shot by the Octana.
Yes.
Because he had a fetish weapon, and I didn't know what the hell that was at the time. Meanwhile,
you just ran right up to him too.
I mean, what the fuck else was I supposed to do?
Shoot him?
I had no gun.
Run.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. I did not have a
I
gun.
did.
Run. It's a fucking werewolf.
The minute you find out it's a werewolf, get the hell out of there, soldier.
Anyway.
Nah.
But look, all of us were brand new at that point in time.
Yeah.
So
Literally my first game.
Dentis, this absolute fucking mad lad, used this, and he had quite literally one blood point left. And he managed to roll like 5 willpower successes back to back to back and stole a tennis soul. It was fucking magic.
You weren't supposed to do that because I did get the power wrong on my end, but at the same time, it made for a great moment.
Oh my
Where-
god, that was
yeah, like,
fucking tense as shit.
Yeah, rule of cool, just have it go off anyway.
Oh,
And
man.
there we go. So yeah, read the whole mechanics when you run these powers in your games. But
Yeah.
if it leads to a cool cinematic moment, probably just let something slide.
Yep.
Yeah. So what I do when I DM or do any type of this is I'll go through and find specific powers and character sheets and make a note so that I know that they have that type of stuff.
Yes.
I'll give like a brief description and everything.
Yeah. See, behold, with my barbarian, never put him in an encounter where he needs to make a strength save.
I always do, because
Yes.
why not?
Yeah.
The last walkway for this path is demonic possession. Demonic possession lets a vampire insert a soul into a freshly dead body. This does not turn the reanimated corpse into anything other than a reanimated corpse. One that will irrevocably
You can do it.
Irrevocably.
It's that middle part, the vogue part, that I just couldn't get. It will one that will irrevocably decay after a week, but it does give either a wraith or a free floating soul, say that of a vampire using psychic projection, a temporary home in the physical world. The body in question must be no more than 30 minutes dead, and the new tenant must agree to inhabit it. A ghost or astral form cannot be forced into a new shell. However, most ghosts would gladly seize the opportunity. Should the vampire, for whatever reason, wish to insert a soul into another vampire's corpse before it crumbles to ash, the necromancer must achieve 5 successes on a resisted willpower roll against the original owner of the body. Otherwise, the interloper is denied entrance. Note: the soul can use whatever physical abilities athletics, brawl, potence his fleshly home possesses. His new fleshy home possesses. And whatever mental abilities, computer law presence, he already possessed. He cannot use the physical abilities of his old form or the mental abilities of his new.
So you realize what this is?
Yes.
Body change with
Yes.
the Giovanni.
Freaky
If
Friday.
a Giovanni dies, comes back from the Shadowlands, and decides that he wants to take the body and identity of that Toreador, he can do that with his power.
I'm gonna put a Ventru soul in a Samichi body.
You can do
Oh,
that.
dear Christ.
And
That's
we'll finally
nightmare
have a
fuel
smart
right there.
Samichi. A smart one. But think about this too, because this is a very easy way to do terror as a Giovanni. Take a specter and put it in that body,
Oh,
and
dear
then just
Lord.
and then let it do what it's going to do. So, behold, that might not be a Fomori you fought. That might just be a specter that Giovanni made to distract you while the Giovanni seizes your assets or freezes your account. And there we go. One step ahead of you. And then the other paths, there's 3, technically 4 other paths as well. You have the Sepulchre path, which is not that interesting. It's more about summoning Wraiths and having the Wraiths fight for you than you doing anything. The Ashen path, which is the Shigaraki power. There we go. Repred, we said it. It's your Tomorrow Shigaraki with that power.
Okay.
And
Bingo card activated.
And then you have the Cenotaph path, which is all about navigating the Shadowlands. Behold, you have Giovanni stepping sideways into the Shadowlands and collecting rates that way. So, how many vampires can do this total? Tremere, Zamichi, Setites, and Giovanni? They can all do this.
Wow, we
And
got some
it's ma-
fucking work to do, don't we?
It's made even easier because the Glassworkers are just giving them the technology to step into the Umbra.
Thank you,
part of that business
Glasswalkers.
agreement.
Very cool.
It's part of that business agreement. Yeah, I gotta love these guys. You'll do anything for money. You're whores.
Yep, basically.
It's like what King of Greed said when we were playing Russia last week. Like, oh, you wonder why the Ghost workers get no respect. You had no points in Brawl.
Well, yeah. Man was a rifleman.
Yeah,
To be fair,
Yeah,
I am too, but I can occasionally hit something.
you're more human than Garou. uh, yeah, yeah. You wonder why the Glass workers don't get respect. Let's go over relationships now. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we have quite a fucking bit to go over with this shit. Good.
Because a lot of this
Lord.
reads like rambling. This reads like an angry Italian man going off on a rant.
Well, no,
Look at
this is really just. It's two Italians in the same room. You got one of them that's a. Yeah, you got one of them that's. Well, goodness gracious, I'm stumbling
the
over
framing
my words.
device for second edition Giovanni was that you're in a room with 3 Giovanni who are giving you a rundown as you're a newly made man.
Yeah, you've got you've got fucking what's his name? You've got a Corey or something. I can't see his name.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you've got a Corey who's like the younger, spunkier Giovanni, and then you've got Diego, who's more like the older Giovanni.
Yeah.
But starting from the top, of course, we have the Assamites. According to Akori, as he says, to the workman shall go his wages, which is out of the Bible, and Assamites would wipe their ass with the Bible if they still had shit to plow, and, but they used to be useful, very reliable, and, little uptight and humorless, but they're hired guns. And like the best assassins, they're sneakier than they are tough. Head-to-head, a Bruja could probably kick one's ass, but, they've never seen such a thing as a straight fight, especially where kindred are concerned. But they've been going basically completely insane on anybody who they think they can fuck with. And that particularly means the Giovanni. They don't have the strength in numbers like the Camarilla or the Sabbat, and so they tend to think that they can pick off lone Giovanni without repercussions, so they have to keep the pressure on them wherever they can. If they make their haven in a town with a Tremere Chantry, sort of make it a win-win option by selling the Tremere information about the Assamites if you don't decide to do it the other way around. You do, however, have 3 advantages over any Assamite. You got money, you got wraiths, you've got self-control. The uses of the money are obvious. Ghosts are good for digging up info, and, especially daylight information. And the cannibals are, past masters sneaking around by night, but during the daytime they can't do shit. Keep in mind that their drinking problem makes, Giovanni's drinking problem look like a walk in the park. If you can interrupt their feeding often enough, then you could chuck some Camarilla or Sabbat in front of them and watch the Diabolry fly. And then you could sort of just pass off the details to a big sect and make the Assamite their problem. As Diego would put it, it's, surprising the blood curses lasted as long as it did. For the most part, the Assamites just overall just don't like the Giovanni. But then again, they're going to hate the Tremere and the Ventru far more than they would hate the Giovanni, so it's probably better off just to, throw them that away and make it their problem. Yeah, that's pretty much the Assamites. The Assamites don't like them. They don't like them back. They hate the Tremere and Ventru, make it their problem.
And
Diego
first
said they are scary monsters.
they are.
They are. And yes,
And-
Assamites are scary, which is why I like playing Assamites.
In first edition, they have. I give it a short step to myself. They say that the Assamites, they would have had more respect for them if they didn't knuckle under the Camarilla's blood curse on them, where they became addicted to vampire vitae. But they do like working with them because if there's anything about an Assamite, they have honor. You know what you're getting into when you deal with an Assamite. So if you need somebody dead, perfect people to call.
Yeah, watch our
Yes.
Assamite video and go to relationships and hear Giovanni, because I think that's one of the funniest thing in that video.
Yes.
Yes.
They sing praises about the Assamites. The Assamites not the same.
Yeah, basically. The Bruja. All pain, no gain. All guts, no brain. given the Gangrel recently defected just to be anarchs, the Bruja's position within the Camarilla has strengthened considerably. But the Bruja brutishness is just what the Camarilla needs to fight off the Sabbat on the ground. Bruja don't seem to realize that without the structure of the Camarilla, they'd have nothing to rebel against, and then would have to start doing something instead of, railing against their betters. That's about the size of it. It's like they don't realize that they're fighting against themselves, and that, if they didn't have themselves to fight against, then they'd be kind of shit out of luck.
You have an entire clan of NPCs.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you've said multiple times.
Oh, we're gonna rage against machine. Where'd the machine go? I don't know. Fuck, what are we gonna do?
Hey, yo, what a machine at?
Yeah, basically. The Gangrel. The Gangrel constantly bite the hands that feed them. Of course, if you want to hire out some ghosts for recon, you get a 2-for-1 special going. What they would really prefer is the Gangrel becoming the new Assamites, basically, which probably won't happen just because the Assamites are better at it. But, as far as it goes, it's more like Hitman versus Bounty Hunter. The Assamites you can count on would be easier to haggle with, if they had some serious competition. Just be good for the free market. It's highly unlikely, though. The Assamites, whatever their flaws, are pretty tightly knit. The Gangrel are just, as the book puts it, a botched version of Tarzan meets Dracula. On an individual level, there's probably more of them who are going to find out that life outside the Camarilla is really lonely, and it's going to get really easy to get picked off. Diego, meanwhile, would remark that, the Gangrel defection merits a great deal of attention, but the Gangrel are going to have, that doesn't mean the Gangrel are going to have much of an impact on the plans of the Giovanni. More than likely, they're just going to suffer from the attention of lupines, if not from mortal hunters. And other independent clans have hierarchies or systems that they acknowledge that their elders gain the strength of, except for the Ravnos. The Gangrel would be lacking that, and they can look forward to steady attrition from their well-organized enemies. So they're of little use to the Giovanni, but they could be useful every now and again. But the Camarilla, what's up?
To their perspective in first edition, they summarize it as, do the Gangrel have money? No. Can the Gangrel make us money? No. Okay, we have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, basically. They don't really care all that much. Although they are feeling like the Camarilla must be, a little bit nervous now that one of their 2 foot soldiers are kind of out to pasture.
Because they were trying to say that the Gangrel left the Camarilla in second edition, and then it didn't go anywhere, and now they're back.
Yeah, basically.
Those plot points that went nowhere.
They don't care all that much about the Gangrel. The Gangrel don't have anything to offer. The Lasombra. They were something once upon a time, and now they're something irrelevant. Nobody gives a shit about kings nowadays in the 21st century. Like we said, the company versus the country motive of running the the Canaanite world. The Lasombra, like many capable people, don't know how to lose, and they're not used to losing. So when they're going from strength to strength, get out of their way because, capitalizing on a victory is what they do best. But when they do stumble, take them for everything that they're worth. They're a superb cautionary example, as Diego would remark. A fine combination of strength and intellect, courage and cunning, and then they become bogged down as the untenable role of Sabbat coalition builder, and fighting their tedious war against slumbering enemies that might not even exist. But they do indeed exist. Of course, this is what happens when you try to preserve old situations instead of adapting to new ones. If they had turned all of their energy and ability into something worthwhile, they'd definitely be done with it by now. Instead, the future they contemplate is one of unremitting toil and conflict, and it's a waste of a perfectly functional eternity. Basically, the Lasombra are wasting their goddamn time.
In first edition, they say if we're number 1, the Venturer number 2, the Lasombra would be the number 3, and the number 3 is going to try harder to rise up than the number 2. They're constantly at odds with the Lasombra. and they don't view them with disdain. The Lasombra don't pretend to be good people, and they kind of respect the honesty of the Lasombra.
Definitely.
You're not going to say that you're doing this for humanity. You're not going to say this. You're doing this for virtues. You're doing this for yourself.
No, I'm doing this for the world.
The usual Ventru bullshit.
Yes. Malkavian. Malkavians are the broken clocks of vampires, right? Twice a day, except for Malkavians, they're right 4 times a day and wrong the other 20. So Diego would say that, they know that the real source of madness was some humorless German convincing the world that it's because mama stopped breastfeeding too soon. It's bullshit. This, particularly the madness of Malkavians, is what happened when a mind is too exposed to the breakdown of the world itself. And all Malkavians can advise you about what exactly is leaking through from the other side. And it is indeed just chaos itself. They are surprisingly coherent, and, and that mirrors a lot in their actions. But ultimately, it's a flash in the pan when they do, say something coherent. Ultimately, it's insignificant.
What else is fun about the Malkavians? I told you that Fox is playing one in a Friday game. I'm very happy to see what he's about to do.
Oh wait, what game are you running Fridays?
What you wanted to be a part
Disco,
of?
Yeah. See, I just wanted to do. Yeah, see, I saw you were asking me about character notes, and I was like, why don't you just have me come in and play Fritz every now and again?
Yeah, you need to click the Roll20 invite link. That's what you gotta do.
I will when I remember where I put it.
See.
Oh wait, no, it's in the thing, but it's just I haven't gotten around to it because I was on my phone when I got it. So I'll do it tonight. Anyway.
Yeah, what you said with the Malkavians and Giovanni don't have any variation in that in first edition. All right, who's next?
Okay. Here's a weird one. I don't think I've ever actually seen this one before until now. The Nagaraja.
Oh yes, the Euthanatos mage.
Indians.
Yeah.
No,
Now, Corey's
Nahara-
never heard of them.
What?
Diego says they're likely gone. They wouldn't mind find one in order to figure out what the virtuous path is, but they also wouldn't mind if they're all dead either.
You were saying about the Map Red?
Nakarat are not the Indian cannibals.
Yeah, they're the Indian cannibals, but they start off as Euthanatos mages that used a ritual the same way Tremere did to become a pseudo-vampire.
I see. Oh, that's interesting.
In first edition, the Giovanni say, avoid these guys at all costs. They're all psychos. You cannot reason with them.
All right, fair.
Every single one of them is deranged.
And then the Nosferatu. They're ugly and they know goddamn everything, so stay on good terms with them as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them into your haven. As Akori says, take it from me, whatever they're leaking on your furniture, it goes right through the fucking Scotch Guard. And when they say, to me, my feral minions, it's time to run. Diego would say, they are fortunate, and like the Mara's kiss, their curse shields them from self-deception, common among Bruja and Toreador.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're damned. Unfortunately, everyone else with eyes or a nose can see it as well. But they are very inquisitive. They are lethally perceptive. They will find out any plan's ultimate goals. And, they tend to be despised by others, and they do tend to stick together. Thus, any Nosferatu spy found sulking about one's residence will be likely de-alborized or just dismissed. And that'll only bring more Nosferatu in to investigate what happened to them. In order to protect yourself, perform only the most secret rituals in the securest confines of strongholds like in Venice or Boston. Some Spiriti possess the ability to penetrate Nosferatu disguises, but this is far from a sure thing. Physical precautions against the Nosferatu are going to be far more effective. They're unfamiliar with the last word in technological trapping, but, a pool of burning oil gives pause to any skulker.
Mm-hmm.
So
they say in tradition that Uncle Augie doesn't like it when you talk to Nosferatu. But if you're in a tight spot and you need information today, you go to Nosferatu, you pay the price, and you get what you paid for.
Yep.
Because Nosferatu charge a shitload of money for their information, but it's always reliable.
Yes. You get what you pay for with the Nosferatu.
Yeah,
That's why you just give out boons.
there we go. The Nosferatu, this is the reason why they're eating so well, is because of just how hard they work.
They do.
Hard
And they're
work
doing a
pays
damn
off.
good job at it.
Hard work pays off in Nosferatu.
Yeah, it does. That's why I made friends with Mickey. I liked having
Yes.
an eye on the outside. Anyway, Ravnos. Oh well, something bad happened to a bunch of arrogant, nomadic, lying, sticky-fingered gypsy douchebags. Boo fucking who. The Ravnos are in great trouble thanks to something gone awry in their bloodline. They're very, very few in the aftermath of the Week of Nightmares. But they're also experiencing difficulties courtesy of this new maelstrom. Unlike the Ravnos, however, their distress is not known far and wide. So there's two possible fates for Clan Ravnos at the time. One is that other Canaanites will sense their weakness and just gang up on them like jackals. The others is that the survivals will whore themselves out to whoever for protection. In the first case, it would be wise for Clan Giovanni to be at the table in order to eat. The second case, they are what many milder cousins would call motivated sellers, which is never a strong position from which to bargain. Although they recommend that they offer the olive branch to the Ravnos, to the successor of the remnants of the Ravnos. It should not be unaccompanied by the thorns of scorn and price. Of course, if we're nice for no reason, they'll likely see it as a trick. But if we offer them protection at a high price, I think we can wring more from them than those who will not forsake vengeance at any price. Eventually, the vengeful might become angry enough to be motivated buyers. But what can protecting them cost? They are too weak to defend them. They are too weak to offend them, and that gives them more cause to rob them in their distress. Basically, they're on the rope. Steal from them whatever you can. They don't have any other choice at this point in time.
And with the Ravnos, well, we have learned that you never want to ask a European what they think about gypsies, so the Giovanni have that same sentiment.
Yeah, basically. Basically, they're thieves and they steal from everybody. Time to steal back from them.
Yes.
Yes. Very nice.
Who's next?
That's going to be the Setites. Fuck the
yes, these
Setites.
bastards.
Beat the shit out of them.
Yes.
Don't talk to them. Don't negotiate with them. Don't fuck around with them. Just kick the fucking shit out of them. Smush them into paste. Fuck the fucking Setites. Fuck them. They suck and I hate them.
Yeah, even in first edition, they say they don't do business with the Setites.
Yes. Just fuck the Setites. Their
Absolutely no
worship
contact
of
with them.
Set is anachronistic, and the Setites hate them back. The only major thing that the two of them have in common is that they have very concrete goals. And yes, even though the Setites are spreading their own corruption and defilement in order to resurrect their old god that they can immediately become the first slaves of, it doesn't fucking matter when the Giovanni are just trying to elevate themselves. Thankfully, zombies are pretty much immune to their bullshit.
Yeah, you can't get a zombie high. It's just impossible.
It is. The Toreador. It's easy to it's easy to dismiss them as a bundle of sticks, as the book puts it. But, they are occasionally pretty smart. But they're talking about the internet stocks. The Toreador have taken the time to learn the internet real well and learn how to make a profit from it. Porn. Internet porn.
There
The
it is.
Toreador love porn.
I
and they're
don't. My husband is dead. I don't want to remarry. I only want sex.
That's the Toreador. They were the first to figure that out. Yeah, so in all honesty, they're sad they didn't put more money in the Toreador's, fledgling internet pornography business.
Yes.
But, with so many clans, the greatest strength of the Toreador is also their weakness. They are the closest to the Canaanites to being mortal, but they also refuse to realize that human emotions are a hazard to the rest of Canaanites. Their mawkishness aside, Toreador are the strongest allies in the Camarilla. Their greed for ordinary pleasure and wealth are honestly a refreshing change from the emotional machinations of the La Sombra and the incoherent political philosophy of the Bruja, or the rigid abstract power displays of the Ventru. Overall, it's just nice to talk to a Toreador. They're pleasingly pragmatic about aspects of undead existence. They're very negotiable with much advantage. I like the Toreador.
It's not that different from what's listed in first edition.
Yeah, there's good consistency between the two, I'm noticing.
They say that they would have liked the Toreador a little bit more if homosexuality wasn't so rampant within Clan Toreador.
Oh, well, whatever.
Yes.
Yep.
Those gays.
So,
that really is what they say.
yeah, basically. The Tremere. So, fuck the Tremere. They're a bunch of goddamn communists. The only reason they miss food is because they can't hold one down and take a shit on them.
Mm.
They aren't, the Giovanni already are crazy about clans with a ruling council, but one that makes everyone lower on the ladder suck dick is just showing how chicken shit they are. Yeah, they're clever. They got some neat tricks that will make, as the book says, that would make Penn and Teller cream their jeans. But they're also absolute fucking cowards when they come to actually doing anything. Tremere just sit around fucking, reading their goddamn books, doing whatever the hell they want. The only thing they do better than fuck each other over is make enemies with other clans. The Zamichi want to fucking kill them. The Assamites are even more pissed off with them. And if you can't bargain an Assamite down to pennies when it comes to killing a Tremere, then you're a disgrace to your stingy, chiseling ancestors. I fucking love this book, dude. It's so funny.
They won't say no. They won't say no to it.
They really will not. The other Tremere weakness is that they're smarter than they think they're smarter than everyone else, even though most of them couldn't out-haggle a Toronto car dealer. They're happy to make a quote-unquote fair trade for, bullshit necromancy that doesn't work. They're just fucking stupid. The Tremere, overall, they, despite everything else, they do have admirable tenacity. Despite all the enemies they have made, they are quite good survivalists. And even the meager secrets that they have managed to rip off from the Giovanni, they have started to build their own off-brand spirit thaumaturgy out of scraps from the Ash Path. But still, this could leave for an avenue for the Giovanni to fuck them over in other ways. As the book puts it, they have clamored for so long, perhaps we should finally sell them enough rope to hang themselves. Yeah, so it's like, everybody hates the shit out of them. Pay an Assamite to kill one as soon as you find one. And those that are trying to find out necromancy, tell him something to get him going, and then when he inevitably fucks it up, point and laugh. And then after that, we have... What's up?
Yeah, I was going to say, same thing in first edition.
After that, we have Zamichi. They spend all of eternity playing with themselves. They are experts in a highly arcane field that has no relevance to necromancy, so we stay out of their way, and they expect the Zamichi to do the same. Then the Ventru. As Akori says, these guys put the anal in banal. Cute, huh? Toreador told me that one. They got more money than Corius, and their hooks are in every police department in the world. Half the EU and a lot of NATO countries are sucking them off or being sucked on, and either way, the Ventru win. They have all this power, and then they do fuck all with it, unless you include, looking for a scientific explanation for the undead condition. So yeah, they're putting all their energy into prevention or something. They spend what's up?
The word's not going to come out of my mouth, but this is something that Justin wrote, page 39 of the first edition of Giovanni. To the Ventru, I remember flipping through one of my relatives' copies of the autobiography of Malcolm X and coming across this part about the house and the field. The field was a hardworking man, true to himself and to his people. The house was a sellout chump who kissed Whitey's ass so he could get out of the hot fields. The Ventru is the house
Jesus.
That's what I say about that. Thank you, Justin. You had stones back in the day.
Yeah, no fucking kidding. Good lord. That's some boondock shit right there. That's insane.
The Uncle Ruckus Giovanni.
Uncle Ruckus Giovanni.
Yeah.
I wanna do that now.
And I don't.
No, Uncle Ruckus
understand.
Vetru. Good lord.
Yeah. Why Jesus bless you, Robert?
We need more people seeing the Boondocks.
Oh man.
Yeah, I have to check it out.
It's 20 years old. It's still good.
I fucking love that show so much. I gotta finish
Yeah, but-
watching it.
The most base show ever put on television.
It really is.
Yeah.
So basically, for Ventru, just maintain their delusions of superiority. Ventru conflicts cannot be salvaged by gestures of penance. Hang your head, act as if you've been caught in an inescapable bind, which might be true. Unwillingly offer reparations and move on. Just move on. Just fucking ignore them. Smile, nod, say yes or no, sir, understand, sir, don't worry about it, sir, it won't happen again, sir. That's it.
Mhm. The profound hatred they have for the Ventru.
Yep. The Ventru, once they do fully enact their plan, are likely to be their greatest opposition.
There's only one clan that likes the Ventru, and that's the Toreador, and that's it.
Yep, basically.
That really is it.
For whatever reason.
And also Werewolf tribe.
Yeah, the Shadow Lords, they love the Ventru.
Now,
Yeah,
the burning
right.
question in my mind:
What's that?
how do they feel about caitiffs?
Caitiffs.
They actually don't bring them up in this book.
Now, first edition they do.
Capuchin.
Rigged.
Capuchin.
They say good for dark work, I guess, or for framing when your plots go awry.
So you're
No.
better off just hanging out with me. Come out to the woods, knock a couple back go hunting with me. It's a lot
They're-
nicer out here.
They're ants beneath their boots.
The caitiff makes the perfect zombie.
It's-
I'm telling you, so just come out to the woods with me. It's a lot nicer out here.
Now, does your copy mention the werewolves?
And all it has to say is run.
First edition, I'm gonna read this verbatim. This is page 40. Leave them the fuck alone unless you really know what you're doing. Italy and Sicily are crawling with dog boys, and there's a lot of reasons as to why we don't have more rural establishments. They hate us because we're full of worms or something, and will attack on sight, so don't ask for quarter. One of their clans, the Glasswalkers, is an exception to the rule, and we work with them on some occasions. For most part, though, let sleeping dogs lie, pun intended.
Damn,
You brought the GWs by name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do have the corporate wolves and the wise guys, so yeah.
And meanwhile, the Glasswalkers were vehemently denying any connection they have with vampires.
Oh, well, if only.
Yeah, bull fucking shit, right?
Yes. Next,
I-
we have mages. They are a massive fucking pain in the ass. Corey speaks of this very long-winded story. Oh, I dropped Fluffy. Hang on. Can't drop Fluffy.
Something happened.
I dropped Fluffy. Sorry. Corey talks about... Okay, let me tell you about the sorcerers I personally knew. They formed a circle with 3 of these punks, pale, dressed in black, and generally acting like blood doll wannabes. We made each other's acquaintances through some mutual contacts on the other side of the shroud, and I eventually got to the point where I was willing to meet and talk with them. They wanted, surprise, surprise, instruction about necromancy and a kindred, and they offered their own knowledge in return. So we went back and forth for a while, doing a horse trade a bit, and I tricked them all into partial blood bonds. But they weren't a pain in the ass, but they were just a pain in the ass to deal with. They didn't want to get involved with the other clans. They didn't really give much of a fuck about kindred society at all. They only wanted to know what we knew about the other side. But every time I tell them something, they just kind of shake their heads or act snotty or try to gently correct my misconceptions. Then the Maelstrom came along. Now, 2 of them are dead. The 3rd one got himself stuck on the other side of the shroud. Idiot. Sure, they got their advantage, quintessential paralytic whatever. But I guess they didn't experience 2 spirit storms before this, did they? I fucking love that story. It's really funny. Basically, they, they talk a bunch of shit. They don't. But here's the thing: they don't really have any effect on kindred, and because they are human, they are very fragile. They, of course, judge themselves to be smarter than anyone, and for this reason, can be used if you know what hints of knowledge to sprinkle their way.
And with the mages, they're not concerned with them in first edition because the traditions are so busy fighting each other that they're never going to be an issue.
Yeah, pretty much.
The mages are cooked, dog.
Yes, they are. Changelings. As Corey once says, whatever. The only fairies I care about are the Toreador. And then Diego actually has some insight. As with the sorcerers, interactions with Fae have been rare and not particularly satisfactory. They claim of their world Arcadia overlapping with our own, which sounds very similar to the Shadowlands. Yet they're unable to entirely contact the region to confirm its existence, but they are content that it isn't really relevant to the Giovanni's goals. Another supernatural zone means that there is a possibility that the Endless Night could have substantially unforeseen consequences. They would like to acquire such a being for study, but the preferred methods of securing souls for interrogation doesn't work on fairies.
They also say in first edition, these fairies, they're very easy to break. All you need is one cold iron crowbar, and you can just beat one to death with little to no resistance. They're trying to get their souls, but they found out it's impossible to grab a fairy's soul, as it will just immediately slip out of their fingers and head right off to dreaming.
Yep, basically.
So,
Hunters.
It'd be a great snack if they could get it.
Yes.
You're saying?
Hunters. How the fuck do they exist? Like, how did they... Was it a Tremere who was hanging out with some honest decaying maid shooting the shit about the maelstrom in Bangladesh and all the freaky nonsense? It doesn't make any sense how the fuck they happen. Disciplines just don't work on them. I don't know how. It was rumored that some dude named Henry Ernst cleared out the Camarilla in Birmingham fucking single-handedly, and then we moved right in, but then they're still around making all sorts of trouble, and then kidnapping his daughter only slowed him down slightly, and now he's got buddies coming out of the woodwork to whack a ghoul here and bruise up a neonate there, and the cops are after him for murdering his wife. Long story. It's only a matter of time before the Toreador eventually get their mitts on him, and then I'll have to haggle with them. But then some of them could just rub their eyes and shrug off their do what I tell you thing. And beating their asses into a fine gel still works. So that's fine. But yeah, for hunters, and some of them are actually able to perceive ghosts as well. So
now, may I cover Wraith the Oblivion?
Yes, you may.
So a helpful little thing to let you know what I'm talking about with the guilds. You see that forum link I just posted?
Hang on, let me...
So, first of all, God bless whoever posted this, because you posted all the stuff for Wraith the Oblivion's mechanics, and I will definitely be copying this and holding on to this, because Wraith the Oblivion information is so hard to come across. We had to zoom in on the list of guilds right there for this segment, because Justin could have just named the Wraiths as a whole and called it a day. No, he goes after... He names every guild in this. And Giovanni all have unique perspectives on every guild.
That's
so
fucking insane.
Dog, you used to be so good, and now I have no idea what happened to you. You used to be so good, dog. Alright. Artificers. They make stuff from the souls of the Shadowlands. They're useful if you plan on spending any time influencing wraiths coming and going, because the ghosts you use to do your bidding inevitably need some sort of shelter. The Chanteurs. Worthless, take them or leave them. Harbingers, kind of like the ferrymen of the river Styx. The Harbingers help wraiths cross the Tempest, which is like a swirling maelstrom or of incarnate oblivion. These guys are worth keeping under your thumb because they can quickly get from place to place if you need be. Now, you remember how much that Tempest damaged you when we were playing Werewolf. You see why having a Harbinger is so important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Maskers. Flies on the walls and James Bond types. These guys are the spies who control all the secrets of the underworld Needless to say, they're fonts of useful information, though they're used to torture and may be tough nuts to crack if they don't like you. That they've Stygia doesn't like maskers, and whatever you're going to do to them, Stygia's already done plenty of times. Monitors. These guys are best used as mere tools. They can connect the dots as far as other writs are concerned. Those dots being fetters, the things in life that are still important to other ghosts. You can use that to bait other ghosts in. Oracles, they do not give a shit about them. Hardeners, the Spanish Inquisition of the Shadowlands. These guys hunt down and exercise the shadows of other wraiths. Good for leaning on particularly stubborn ghosts. They're not useful for too much else besides preserving the self-destructive natures of wraiths, whatever. Proctors. When most of the people think of ghosts, these are the guys that spring to mind. The whole whispered voices across the shroud thing, it's handy for freaking out people, but for the most part, they're either morbid brooders or flighty individualists, neither of which typically understand their master and servant relationships that we put them in. Puppeteers. They possess the bodies of people in the Skinlands, obviously super useful. Sandmen. Ghosts that wander around in dreams. Unless they know their power at really high level, they're meaningless. Spooks. Beavis and Butthead ghosts. Fuck these guys. Usurers. I'm not sure how the metaphysics of it work, but these guys are kind of like the Jews of the Wraith world. Apparently, they can lend and borrow the emotional sustenance which drives the restless dead. Whatever, I guess it's useful. Now, they have a whole spiel on the Haunters. One group we didn't mention is the Haunters. That's because we work with them more than any other guild. They practice an arcanos known as Pandemonium, which works like it sounds, by making things that are weird happen for the sake of happening. I'm not talking about ghostly sightings or voices from beyond the grave. I mean full-blown, fucked up, spectacular shit like bleeding walls, raining frogs, and withering trees. What could we possibly have in common with freaks like these? A mutual antipathy for the Shroud. In the mind of a Haunter, the Shroud is the single biggest obstacle preventing them from getting to the Skinlands. Their perfect world is one which the Shroud is gone, permitting them to work with their chaos and inflict whatever they want on whoever they want. Naturally, we don't want that, but any help we can get in pulling away the Shroud is appreciated. With our control of Necromancy, we can use them for all their worth and kick them into obedience after the job is done. Disenfranchised Giovanni neonates get along best with them, sharing common feelings of futility in their situation. Mired in the plots of the elders, each group sees no real harm in hanging out with each other. The old farts of the clan and the guild, on the other hand, hate each other like nobody's business. Skilled necromancers also often use haunters to foil the advances of their clan rivals. Nothing fucks up a summoning ritual like turning a Giovanni's ghoul apprentice into a writhing morass of maggots in a single pile.
Yeah, that's
So
scared the
behold.
shit out of me too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with Wraith the Oblivion. We're definitely cracking into Wraith the Oblivion come October.
Yes.
I mean, we have to, Halloween week.
Yes, definitely. Although, one thing I did forget to mention in the book, I don't know if this is in first edition, the Orphic Circle. Corey doesn't know who they are. Diego asks, wherever did you hear the Orphic Circle?
Wherever did you hear the Orphic Circle? You need not concern yourself with them. Like the Nagara, their time is come and gone. Should you encounter a renegade cousin, Antonio, and his associates, however, do not hesitate to inform me immediately. I'm eager to express my displeasure to him.
You see just how good these guys are. Just how good. Just how good this entire clan is.
Good written, guys.
Yeah.
Not good in general, good written.
So well done. It's so well done.
Yes.
But
do you care to fill me in on the Orphic Circle?
No, so we told you about Orpheus, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the like Danny Phantom if you turn it into a tabletop game.
That is kind of sick though.
That is what that is. The Orphic Circle is that. You're either up in the air as to what was Butch Hartman's best show. It was either that or Fairly Odd Parents.
I vastly preferred Danny Phantom.
Yeah, when it wasn't going into like angst or melodrama, it was the much better show.
I quite liked it.
All right, and I am copying down these Wraith powers as I speak.
Yes.
And mixing splats. How are we going to mix splats? Rapper, you got any ideas?
Maybe glassworkers? Who
Yeah,
knows?
That's the
That
obvious
the
choice there.
super
definitely.
obvious one.
Yes.
Uh, Silence traders as well.
Definitely Sunstriders.
Yeah, because they're definitely going to be the targets of a Sun Strider focused game.
I
What are they? The
honestly,
target of Shadow Lord. Just
Yeah.
Venture's like, I hate those Giovanni. Hey, my friend. Kill
Say,
them
oh,
for me."
you want this guinea shit out of here? We can do that for you, comrade.
yeah, that'd actually be kind of neat, like a Russian mafia versus Italian mafia game with like
Yeah.
the Giovanni and the the Giovanni trying to negotiate territorial disputes with the
Shadow Lords.
with the Ventrue and the Shadow Lords, and all three of them are at the table. That'd actually be like a really good like political thriller kind of game. Like if you wanted a minimal combat game, that one would be really neat.
Yeah, you can do talkie games with Werewolf. You just gotta make the builds for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it being like Giovanni being like, oh yes, these suits, these Italian suits, and there's Russian mafia in tracksuit.
Yeah.
No, come on. This is a mafia. They're all gonna be. Well, I mean, the banditi will be wearing Adidas, but you know. But even
We're
still,
we're just wearing tank tops, showing off their tattoos.
yes.
The Shadow Lords know how to dress.
Yeah, exactly. The wife beater, the fucking like a beanie cap, and then Adidas track pants.
And they smell like liquor when they come into the room.
I like the
Everyone
Burt
smells like
Kreischer,
liquor.
the machine bit. Your machine.
Who else would be fun? The Children of Gaia, because of how much homosexuality prevails in the Children of Gaia tribe. How fucking much Giovanni would hate them.
Either that or they find the one, closet
Wait a minute,
gay
There's
Giovanni.
Black Furies. There are
Yeah.
Black Furies right down the road.
That's
the
true
Black
as
Furies.
well. Like think about
Yeah,
it.
the lesbian werewolf that they would also hate with a passion.
Either that or like, a Giovanni woman stuck in a loveless relationship, but Catholics don't get divorced.
Yeah.
And then she talks to a Black Fury who like tells her, "Bitch, run away with me."
Yeah, you have to pay the Black Fury to kill your husband.
That'd actually be really fucking neat.
There you go.
I feel like this book, and we haven't really done like a talkie RP game. Miami by Night is definitely going to have some of that, depending on the faction you choose. If it turns into an Arcane, then probably not as much. But
Yeah.
even still, this is 1980s Miami, and you're playing as, vampires. The Veil is going to, the Masquerade is going to be a much bigger concern.
Yeah. Who survives disco by now will be in Miami.
Yeah, basically.
You go from the top of America to the bottom.
Well, no, like depending on how, Disco by Night goes, that could be like an indirect sequel to it.
Yeah, because that game takes place in 1979, and then your game is in 1980 something.
Probably like 1985 during the heart of the drug war, or the height of it.
Let's see, and thinking. Fianna.
Oh yeah, Dervish.
Yeah,
With the
the
mil-
Irish mob versus the Italian mob. In fact, with the Milners, you have the Milner family. You can have them fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or
Or,
you
you
could actually have a
Mother's-
reason to play as a Mother's Fundy.
Yeah, my mother's fundamentalist against the Giovanni.
Play an IRA against on the black and
I have a mother's fundamentalist that's sitting off to the side, Brand Reagan, and I have no idea when I'm going to use him, but
I don't
hell,
after I do San Fran or Rage Across San Fran, or not Rage Across San Fran, Rage Across LA,
Los Angeles.
I might actually do like a Lock Stock inspired vampire campaign then.
It's and how about we pair up the Giovanni with a Red Talon?
No.
Let's pair them up. Let's see. Just the Red Talons. They're looking around. They see a zombie going around there, thinking, "Didn't we just kill you 5 days ago? How does this guy come back?"
Basically.
Yeah, and the mirror of like Giovanni. Oh, I need all this money. I need all this stuff, and Red Baron just sits in forest.
Just tears up his couch and pees on his rug.
Yes.
And then the
About to turn
Giovanni
on the world
neonate's
about
bitching to a primogen like, he peed on my rug, man.
Cost
Really tight.
$500.
Really tie the room together.
It was a nice rug, wasn't it, dude?
I'd be laying on a pillow one moment, and then poof, it exploded. Good thing I'm okay. And see, other vampires, I think we already went over that well enough. Mages. The Euthanatos, given that the Giovanni are running completely counter to what the Euthanatos want to do, they want you to reincarnate and live a better life as a mummy or just a reincarnated person.
But
And the
I
Giovanni are
want to also put one tradition
and
because of the beeswax verbena.
Yes.
yeah, because of all the fluids that the verbena will use in their magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the beeswax shit, with the
Yeah.
last drop,
Yeah.
I think that will be essential.
Yes. I honestly, now that you mention it with the Euthanatos, like him getting an argument, like the Euthanatos getting in an argument with the Giovanni, it's like, that guy's a fucking waste of space. What are you doing? I was trying to kill him. Yeah, and I brought him back. Boo fucking ho. No, let him die. No. Well, sorry, pal. He belongs to me now.
Hey, look what the
Motherfucker,
world's
you're
fucking
gonna
coming
get it.
to.
Fucking Gershwin Kaminsky fucking beating the shit out of a Giovanni.
See, because of how much they want to talk about being Catholic, the Celestial Chorus.
And then
Never
they
had it.
realize, like, oh, hey, they're Catholic. Oh, no. They're raising the dead. This is heretical bullshit.
Yeah, heretic versus heretic. Let's go ahead. Let's do it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, did you read Lazarus part?
Yep.
She
Lazarus
came up
is more.
2 days later.
Lazarus spoke with Jesus. You guys know nothing about Jesus.
We know about Lazarus.
Yeah,
And
we
he
can tell
spoke
you
with
about.
Jesus.
We can tell you about Jesus. And one
Excuse
more
me, do your
group.
bloodline meet Jesus? No? Fuck off.
One more group I'm thinking of. The Order of Hermes is coming to my mind. Let's see, why the Order of Hermes? Why am I thinking about this?
I don't know.
I think more about like in terms of just like organization structure.
Wait
just
a
comparing
minute.
apples to apples.
It's spirits,
Yeah.
dream speakers.
Yeah, Dream Speakers could have a
That'd be
planet.
neat. Yeah, actually, now that you bring that up, that's a good point.
Yeah, keep him out of the shroud. Keep him out of the near umbra. Yep. Tina would have something to say about that too. Just get a Dream Speaker, support that Dream Speaker as much as possible again to shut down the Giovanni in this country in that part of America. Let's see. Wraith the Oblivion. The comparison
obvious.
writes itself. The comparison writes itself. That's a very clear antagonist of a Wraith game.
Yes.
And changing the dreaming.
I feel like they'd want to know about it, but they would only get like secondhand information from a Toreador who maybe met like a Puka once.
And as materialistic as the Giovanni are, I think they're just so banal that no changeling would want to work with them.
Basically.
Yeah, not even the Unseelie or the Shadow Court would want a hand in it.
You mean to tell me that you want to enslave a face spirit? That's fucking awful.
All you care about is money. That's it. Where's the magic in that?
Yeah,
Money is magical.
You've
Yeah.
got these
It buys
books
me
here
food.
that are that are thousands of years old, and you
Going
see
back
no
to the
beauty in them.
past.
That's just tragic.
I have imagination and I see money.
You got an idea, Ryan?
Put a face spirit instead of a Ventru Ventru vampire.
Oh, that'd be
That's
fucked.
That'd be wild.
That's
Well,
but that could happen though, couldn't it?
Yeah, what happened to the
Oh.
boss? He's acting nothing like he used to.
Holy crap, face spirit is making like
Oh my god, a she,
we
the ego of a she in a Ventru.
That'd
That'd
I
be
think-
awful.
Nah. I think about Satyr doing like Wicked at Bernie's Adventure.
Oh.
Like young Adventure.
I'm out here making campaigns for people.
Really?
See, what the
Stop
Puka
him
could do with
out.
animal forms at the Zimichi body. I've never seen a rabbit quite like you before.
Yeah.
Good
with so many
lord.
eyes and teeth.
Oh, I'm gonna make
What
so
big
much
eyes do you have?
additional eyes and teeth.
The Giovanni could just cause chaos, dude.
Yeah, I know.
with-
I'm
with
here
his-
for it.
with-
This is funny
with
as
these
shit.
powers. Demon the Fallen.
Oh fuck!
See,
I'm out of this discussion.
well, with the Faustians, before no, but after the Sixth Great Maelstrom, if they want to get the back on track, if they want to speed up the process and get those 100 million rates back, yes, go ahead and make the contract with the Faustian.
Oh, I could get you those souls. All I need
So
is a
you're-
little something from you.
You go ahead and you talk to Alistair from Houseman Hotel, and he gives you the ghost that you're looking for.
Do we have a deal?
And let's see who's next. The Luciferians. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Ah,
100% no.
Now Lucifer cares about his babies too much to let the Giovanni get away with that. Same with the Reconcilers. I think killing off Clan Giovanni would be a goal of the Reconcilers. Maybe God will love us if we do this.
Maybe.
Who's next? The Cryptics. I don't think Giovanni's looking for information anytime soon.
Seriously,
Unless
the
it's-
wax statue,
Yeah, unless it's that diary. He wants to his hands on that, but that's it.
diary, and a wax, and that's two things he wants.
Yeah, that's it. He just needs 2 answers. That's it. And the Ravagers. We finally have a group that the Ravagers would work with. Because the Ravagers just want human suffering. And the Giovanni needs souls. Send out a Ravager, have him start collecting souls for you.
Done
And
deal.
the Ravager will just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, they
it
don't
gives
even
the
care about
Ravager
the
something
money.
to kill.
It's about
It's like-
sending a message, Batman.
It's like taking your pit bull to PetSmart and putting him next to the rabbits.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he's only thinking of one thing.
Lunch is what he's thinking of.
I can't wait to fuck you up. And that's it. That's whole Clan Giovanni for you. We have no part 3.
Auto pizza, pepperoni, questa in Italia, whatever. Gabagool.
Or maybe there will be a part 3 when we cover the Giovanni Chronicles.
Maybe.
Make money, don't be gay. That's it.
There it is. It's just be rich forever, like what Rick Ross says.
MasterCard, Visa, American Express. Got nothing
So-
against those credit cards, but cash is the best.
It's-
When we were talking about the Alabama section of the Giovanni,
yeah.
it reminded me of something.
What was
Tell
that?
me.
When the uncle said "give kisses" in the beginning of the skit,
Yeah.
just a whole different meaning now.
Yeah,
'Cause I was thinking, like the classic kiss on each
Yeah, like
cheek.
kiss
yeah.
on the lips.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought that was.
And then we hit that one part, that one Alabama part, and I'm like, hold on a second.
No. It's not Alabama because the whole skits must be bloodhounded,
Good lord.
and that's your chronicle, guys.
It's that scene from that line from Smiling Friends. Pim, did you kiss your dad on the lips?
You kiss your dad on the lips?
Okay, we got into there on a high note.
There we are. All right, good night, everybody.